mad annoying. You got to take those clips.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the 10 Lions podcast. I'm your boy, Jelani Lion. This is episode 46. In this episode, we will be discussing Jesse and Jelani going to therapy, Donald Trump's new economic plan, Katy Perry and Gayle King go to space, Justin Bieber happier around black people, Tracy Ellis Ross double standard, and more. So make sure you watch all the way into the end so you don't miss a single thing. Also subscribe, comment, like, and share. Introducing my boy Jesse. Kenny, aka Team Kenny, is back in the building.
What's going on?
Also, we got the one and only Molly McCarthy is here. How are you feeling, Molly?
I'm good. What an introduction.
What an introduction. Well, it's not over yet. For you guys who don't know, Molly is the owner of this establishment. She is the co-founder, brains behind it,
clinical
and
director.
This location that wouldn't be possible for us to be the podcast, having the podcast here if it wasn't for Molly and our us meeting a few months ago, maybe a year ago now.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a minute ago.
Yeah.
So I've been able to have the podcast here thanks to Molly, and
it's been so lovely.
I super appreciate her for her kindness and whatnot.
Can I ask a question?
Aww.
Where did you meet?
Here.
Yeah. Well, you came to an event here.
Right.
Okay.
And I was like, I gotta meet the person behind this.
What was the event?
It was like a singles.
Okay.
Self-embodied.
Okay.
Mingle.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you hit me up, and we had a meeting, and we were feeling, about this collab, and Here we are. You've been doing this, going strong for a long time.
That's what's up.
It's nice.
So
like
it's
that.
dope to.
I like that.
I don't know how to word it. Like, basically have the two worlds collide. Basically, like having you on the podcast is definitely be dope. It'd definitely be dope to look back on. I can already tell.
Most staff.
Feeling
it. That's why I'm here.
How are y'all feeling today? Happy Easter, by the way.
Happy Easter, everybody. I'm feeling great. Yeah, what a beautiful day. I mean, sun was shining. Always a blessing.
Yep, the weather is turning. We're going from winter to spring. Next minute it'll be summer. So good vibes in New York.
Blooming.
Question I have for y'all. We usually do, before we get into the topics, we have like words of wisdom. So if you guys have any words of wisdom.
You know what's funny?
You'd like to
I had
share.
a tournament yesterday with my team, and we lost both games, but it was an eye-opener, and I came out of it with, I think that demographic set goals. They know how to set long-term goals, but they don't know how to set short-term goals, or they don't have they're not in that mind frame. So mine would be like, short-term goals help long-term goals. Pretty basic. Yeah. I tried to leave it basic. I think it was 14 to 16-year-olds, 13 to 15, somewhere in that range, the kids. But I think that demographic are like, I want to go to the NBA, or I want to go to this Division I college, and it's like, no, like go. Say you want to make 100 jump shots 5 days out of the week first. Like it's short-term things that help you get to the long-term goals.
You got to build your way up, some shit.
Most definitely.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you got to make it manageable, right?
Yes.
Because I think otherwise people get so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then they lose sight and focus, but that's beautiful wisdom.
So how about short-term goals lead to long-term goals?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Did you say that to your team?
I made it a little more simpler because they were, younger, but that's kind of the gist of it.
You got that in your back pocket
beautiful.
now.
Got it.
Beautiful tool.
Molly, what you got?
Yeah. Lots of wisdom, but I will say, I guess what resonates most deeply for me is, I've always loved the expression blessings in disguise, right? That no matter what we go through in life, there's gonna be a blessing that arises at some point down the line. Oftentimes in the immediate moment, it's so hard for us to recognize that there's something good that's gonna come from that situation, but in turn, there's always something that you can get out of it. So, Tony Robbins always says, that life is happening for you, not to you. Right.
She got a couple of them.
I like the short, but I love the short ones. I don't like them long,
tie together.
5, 6
yeah.
sentences.
They tie together because it's like,
couple words that
if you're going through life, moving through life, and you're recognizing that every single thing that's happening is happening for you rather than to you. So it's like, it's building that resiliency within yourself as a survivor rather than kind of playing life as though you're a victim.
Yes.
Then it helps to strengthen not only what you're receiving in your path, but also recognizing that a blessing in disguise is either
crazy.
happening right in the moment or it's going to come through in time. And you got to trust the process of that.
I like it. So that was blessing in disguise. What's happening to you? It's happening to you, not for you? Or it's happening for you, not to you?
Not to you, yeah.
And then trust the process was in to you. I don't know if you
Yes. I like them 3
Listen,
4.
3 and 1,
I
right?
like that.
That's how we do it.
I like it. It definitely all went together nicely, and I hope someone can hear that wisdom and take it and use it for themselves and whatnot. For my bit of words of wisdom, there was something I had. It was a comment I got on YouTube, and I responded to it. It was something like, I'm about to find it. Hold on, one second. It was, someone asked me, I also wanted to ask you if you feel support from your community. I'm new to your work / story. And I said, to answer your question, no, I don't feel support. Or if I do, it's overshadowed by hate in one way or another. I feel congratulations when I do something good, and sometimes not even that. So that's where I wanted to take my words of wisdom. Obviously, it's not a typical words of wisdom, but something I wanted to highlight because it's like relevant to where I'm at. And honestly,
Say
different
it
people.
again. Say it again.
So she asked me, I also want to ask you if you feel support from your community. I'm new to your work / story. And I said, to answer your question, no, I don't feel support. Or if I do, it's overshadowed by hate in one way or the other. So when I was saying that, I had to take it back because obviously there are people that support me.
Yes.
Obviously there are people here. Obviously there are people there.
Yes.
And there are people that support me and are rooting for me, blah, blah, and whatnot. However, when she said the community, so I would say I've experienced more negativity from my own community than positivity, especially in the support aspect. There's this one not meme but like picture. It's like one person in a crowd or in a audience or stands, one person, and that's the support. And then the flip side of that, the congratulations is the entire stands is full and whatnot. So that's kind of how I feel like it. Yeah. But again, I also wanted to say the overshadowed part by the negativity and whatnot because I don't want to discredit the people that do support and have supported me and whatnot because that also is obviously important. But from my perspective, it does sometimes get overshadowed with negativity.
Yes. No, I get it.
Does all that make sense?
And it does, but it only, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, it only gets overshadowed to the negative people, if that makes sense. Like the people that are not really, or let's say a brand new person that isn't on either side of the fence. Like I think in the short period of time, they'll realize like that, like the negativity isn't needed, so that they won't really see that negativity. So I don't know if that's overshadowing a brand new person. But for you, I get what you're saying. Like you can see it that way.
So when I say overshadow, I mean that it's overshadowing to me. Like I feel like you took it as like they're overshadowing it.
Yeah.
So they're not overshadowing it themselves.
Yeah.
But to like that's like saying say someone that you coach. Everyone's clapping for them because they made a basket or whatever, but they miss a basket and they say that it sucks or whatever. That emotion, that negative emotion overshadowed everyone like clapping for them and applauding them and whatnot. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of what I was talking about. Molly, you're a therapist here. Talk to us. It's not every day we get to talk to a therapist.
No, exactly.
Well, it just brought me to one of your one of the stories that you posted this past week. It was a quote.
I like that.
It was a quote about, not seeking revenge because the rotten fruit will end up falling.
Yes.
Do you remember that one that you put? I mean, you should
know
because it's not your story.
I'll be posting gems, that's all.
But
I kind of.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
But for real, it's like, okay, so if we're going to consider the haters, the rotten fruit, it's like eventually they're going to fall, right? So why are we going to focus on them? Or the way that I see it is like, take in whatever kind of feedback is being given and just try not to be reactive. Just take it in and let me just feel into this. Is there some truth to this? Maybe it could even just be like a little thread,
right?
Within that feedback.
What can you learn from it?
I can learn from, maybe not. But whatever the case may be, it's like you either transmute it, you transform it, right? to serve you and
love
motivate
this.
you and inspire you, or
love this.
peace out.
We haven't
You
gotten
know,
to
and you
this.
just
We haven't even gotten
you
to
let
the
the
therapy
haters
part.
be the haters.
But
you
I
know
feel
what I mean?
like what she just
It's
said
true.
was literally our conversation
Yeah,
yesterday.
of
And
course.
that's dope. I like that. Like full circle, because I feel the same way. Like I used to be quick to go straight to the negative. Even as far as when I first, he started talking to me about this podcast, one of my first questions was like, how do you deal with negative comments? Like, does it affect you? Does it, you know? But I feel that we just had this conversation last night, and I feel the same way. Like, if you're on a journey and you're good and set in your journey and comfortable with yourself, nothing should really even be negative to you. Even if the person's trying to be negative, you shouldn't even take it as negative because you're good. Like, just take it for what it's worth,
Yeah.
and then do with it what you may. And that
Yeah.
might include not talking to that person anymore. Like, respectfully, like anything is, it doesn't matter what you do, but if you're in a positive state of mind and you're set forth, like, I wouldn't even look at that as like a negative. Like, he's just in his own world, cool, whatever.
It's gonna come back full circle
You know?
again, though. I like how you put it together, but it's gonna come back around.
I mean, sometimes what I love about it too is I love that feeling of like, I'm gonna prove you
Wrong. Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. I
And
mean, you see this in ball all the
Yes.
time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it a lot. So I originally had you and Tiffany planned to be here, so we can talk to two therapists, but we'll take one therapist any day.
Yeah.
Um,
And she's kind of my other half, so represent Tiffany through me.
There you go.
Right.
So we still got.
And that's when you gotta come back
we
and
still
get
have
in
two
spirit.
therapists. are
She's
you
here
saying?
in spirit, no
Okay,
doubt.
okay.
I like it.
Yes.
So we're getting both sides of the
And,
therapy.
and
then.
she's
That's the
by
hallucin-
far the queen to the decor and so much of this space that we're in right
super
now.
fine.
So we definitely honor her, and she'll be
Is
here
she a
one of these
co-founder?
days. She is.
I like
Yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
Very cool.
We started this journey together in 2021, so we're going on 4 years this
Is she
July.
from Newport as well, or is she from?
She's from Virginia and
Okay.
New York. She lived in New York for a little
Wow.
bit, like down further south, like Long Island kind of area, and then Virginia. But
And
she's
where'd
been up
you
here for
guys
quite
meet?
some time. We used to work at the Dutchess County Helpline. We used to do a crisis hotline in
Okay.
Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
we
this
just
was
decided
talks
to
in
join
the works.
forces.
This was all made.
Yeah,
That's good.
we
That's
both have
cool.
private practices, and then we were like, ooh, let's
That's
put
cool.
this together and have a healing center. So here we are.
Super
That's
smart.
Yeah,
First question I got for our therapist.
let's do it.
As a therapist, why do you think we want to get into the question?
That's good. I like this. I like this.
You got to.
Yes.
As a therapist,
Let's do this.
As a therapist, Molly, you gotta put on your therapist hat, not your Molly hat now.
I mean,
Wow,
my
I
therapist
think
hat is
she's
always
in.
on.
Oh, if it's always
It
on,
is.
perfect.
It's
I don't
a
even gotta
huge
say that.
part of who I am.
Excuse me, pardon me. What do you think? Why do you think the black community has such a stigma against receiving therapy?
Well, I would say for one, it can be a little challenging to generalize, right? Because I've worked with plenty of people within the black community. But I think in general, there's been a lot of stigmatization amongst many cultures, you know, around therapy. And I think one of the reasons tends to be that a lot of people carry a deep philosophy, a value system, and have pressure from family, culture, community to do this too.
You think it's upbringing.
That I've got to work through this on my own. Or I have to stay within the family to work on this. Or some of the private, secretive, personal issues that we have going on, we don't really want other people to know about because that could shame the family, right? That could create even further stigmatization. So therefore, let's just kind of keep it in here.
Is
You know?
that the same for black women and men? Is it just the same for both, or do you think it's more men? Because I always
I think
felt
it's really
like it's
personal,
more men.
honestly. I mean,
Yeah, so you don't.
because
think
I've worked with
you don't
I've
think
worked
it's-
with all walks of life.
Right.
So,
throughout
okay,
my
okay, so you
career.
see that
So
on every.
it was more of a
Yeah.
general
spectrum.
question
That's
anyway,
cool,
because
that's cool.
obviously not
I
all
like
black
that
people
answer.
don't go to therapy, but for the majority, they have that stigma. So but you answered it pretty
But
well.
I
when
like
you
the
were
fact that she's
different
saying
cultures
like
and whatnot like that.
all demographics have that same issue. So it's not we just know us, so we
Right.
think it's just us. So it's pretty cool to hear that. It's not cool, but it's like interesting to hear that it is us. All aspects, all different demographics have that same issue.
It's very personal,
Yeah.
you know, because You know, we all know, like coming from a particular family even, you can have several siblings in that family, and some people might be more open than others who tend to be a little bit more guarded, withdrawn, shut down, or feeling that pressure to deal with everything themselves rather than seek support to do it. I think the other component, which I see a lot in general, is the fear of vulnerability. A lot of people are afraid to be vulnerable. A lot of people don't want to open up because they're afraid that if I open up this can of worms, I'm going to start to feel those feelings that I don't want to feel, and I've been suppressing those for a long time. Or maybe there's some repressed content down there that I don't really want to have to face.
How do you know? How does a person know? They don't even know, right?
With repression?
Like, no, like what you just said. You said some people are like vulnerable because some of the times, like when I was saying to you, like some of the times I felt like, man, I don't need to do that. Was one of the reasons why, like, is there a way to know that, like somebody to know that without talking it? So it's like,
I think a lot of people are under the impression that when you get into counseling, that all of a sudden you're going to just have to share your whole life story right off the bat. But the best way to work it would be like getting into any relationship with anybody, which is build the trust, and you build it slowly, and as it comes and as you feel more comfortable, then you'll maybe start to open up. But if you're working with a psychotherapist who's pressuring you to open up, that's not your person.
Okay.
Because you really want to take your time, you know? I remember when I was in graduate school, one of my professors shared a story about working with someone who had dealt with a lot of trauma on a very consistent basis. This is down in New York City. She said it took her an entire year to even speak. She would see her for every single week, and they would sit for an hour.
That's crazy.
Silent.
That's crazy.
And then after 1 year, she opened up, and it was, you know, really intense trauma that she had been through. But that's the beauty of being in a sacred, you know, trustworthy space with another person who in time, hopefully you will feel compelled to share what's going on, you know? And in my experience, because I mean, I've been in the field for a very long time. I'm going on my 26th year of being in this profession. You know,
clap it up for that.
Yeah, no,
26 years.
That is a lot.
99.
Commendable.
Turn of the century is when I started in this field. But yeah, I mean, it takes people some time, you know, and I think there can be a lot of reluctance because of what is ultimately emerging for people. But at the same time, once you kind of break through, you know, some of those touch points, most people are just so grateful to have someone outside of their usual circle that they can talk to about things. Because you tell your best friend something, don't say anything to anybody. Sometimes it leaks, right? You say something to a friend or to a family member, and now all of a sudden they hate the person that you're talking smack about because you're upset. All of a sudden you love that person back again. Everybody else hates them because they're like, they did you wrong. So there's all these things that can happen. And the beauty of having, like, you know, we're HIPAA compliant, right? So we're not allowed to share anything, not that we would anyway, but it's a very safe place. And if you notice in our space here, we've got little sound machines throughout because we have those going just in case, you know, you can hear anything, you know, it kind of mutes out any sort of sounds that people are making just to further that feeling of trust in the confidentiality that we have here, you know?
As I get older, I like to think that, like, I may get more friends, but, like, my people are my people. So sometimes I get to a sense of, like, I can say something to my best friend, but I already know what he's gonna say back to me, you know? Like, sometimes you just really want a totally different, unbiased
that's a good way
answer,
to put it.
you know? Because that's literally, I feel like, where I'm at in my life now, because I've always been the most scared of not being able to control my emotions. Like, once you crack the can, I might be good here in the room with you, but when I go into the open world again, and now, like, am I gonna be able to be okay? You know, that was always my biggest fear with it. But I think it's, like you said, as far as, like, needing it to a point, is like, I think I'm at a point of, like, the people that I hate are my people, but I kind of know what they're going to say depending on the subject. Like, I can tell myself already, and then I still call, and it'll be the answer that I knew I was going to get, you know? And you need those answers too.
No,
but sometimes I just want something fresh, something like something
different perspective,
that, you know, like even, like,
or someone to call you out. Right, because sometimes you might have a friend that's just kind of coddling you through the issue that you're going through, or they're like, don't worry,
Yes.
things will be okay,
Yes.
things are gonna look up, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's really nice to have somebody who's like,
No, you gotta fix
I care
this.
about you,
Yeah.
but let me just tell you something
Yeah.
that I've been noticing over the course of time, and
Okay.
that is part of our work too, is
That's
confronting.
Okay.
You know, which is a beautiful. That's my favorite.
And it's
moment
it's
in counseling
crazy.
is
I
to do
wish
that with
I
someone.
could have got to this point at a younger age, but it's almost like I think that, and for me, I'm speaking personally, just for myself. Like I would be probably a million times better if I probably would have did it like 8 years ago, 7. You know what I mean? Like some of the
Did
things
therapy?
that I went, some of the
Yeah, of
things that I
course.
went through. If I would have just found a person and like I've always been cool with going through things on my own, but I think more so because like now I got kids, so I'm not making a decision just for me. I'm making a decision for me, but it might affect them. So maybe I should get some more of a professional opinion than
Right.
just acting like, oh, I'm gonna just do it, and if it don't work, I'll figure it out. You know, like
Right.
like I could do that with me. I'm cool with that for me as a person, but when you have to
Yeah.
take care of kids and things like that, you
Totally.
kind of got to look at it a little bit deeper than just I'll
Yep.
figure it out.
Yeah, because you're a role model.
Yeah.
And even in basketball too, right? It's like you're a role model to all these children that are looking to you to receive that guidance and to receive that leadership because you are a leader, no doubt. I can't tell you how many times I've had the situation of having like a family, whether it's a parent, single parent, or you know whatever kind of family, come in, bring children in for counseling, and then a little down the line, I'm like, it might be helpful for you to get
You
some
to take
support
it too?
yourself too.
Okay.
And I've had that happen
That's
so many
cool.
times where then parents are like, I think you're right. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, they'll end up utilizing or wanting to utilize some of their like child's counseling time for themselves. And it's like such a good example of like, we need help too. We all need help.
Right. No, of course.
You know, no one's exempt from that. Like this life is not easy.
Right.
It's not.
That makes
you
sense,
know?
for
Yeah,
sure.
we're living on life's terms. There's a lot that comes into our path that we have to be strong and learn how to rise above.
That makes complete sense. Now,
Yeah.
Molly, I got a question for you. As a white therapist, a white woman therapist, do you feel comfortable speaking to black issues, for like that are like significant to black people? I know that obviously everyone has their problems. Everyone has like different minorities have similar problems, but then there are black people who would just have black problems, or problems that are predominantly faced by black people. How do you feel about that? Are you comfortable
Well,
with
I
that?
think, you know, anytime I'm supporting somebody through counseling, no matter who they are, whatever walk of life, like there comes a point where we have a conversation of like, how is this feeling? Are there things coming up about my presence, you know, in our time together? And for me to share the same with them, right? So it might be that there are some obvious differences between us. It could be a gender thing. It could be a race thing. It could be anything, right? It could be language. Whatever the case may be, it's like it's important to have those conversations so we can bridge any gaps, work through any sort of obstacles that might be coming into play. But for myself, you know, I grew up in Nyack, New York, which is about an hour and 15 minutes south of here, and I grew up in a very diverse community. So my little crew, you know, was very diverse in and of itself, but the school that I went to was very diverse. So I've always been immersed, and my parents both came from the city, so you know, I've been very immersed in diversity. So that's what I know firsthand. And then having worked for Orange County for 8 years, you know, I worked in the heart of Newburgh, and you know, I rarely saw a white person, you know, for counseling, and supported so many people who had, you know, parolees, people on probation, you know, CPS, the list goes on, just so many different issues that were happening and still are happening in that community. I think there's definitely been an improvement, but I'm very comfortable working with anyone because I see the human in everybody. But
Right.
if there's something that I'm sensing that's coming up, or there's something that's coming up in me, you know, by all means, that's a conversation to have when you're in counseling with someone, because you want to feel comfortable with someone, and if you're sensing it, then it's good to air it out and put it out there so we can figure it out.
So to
together.
piggyback in 20, so let's say, because I know you from basketball and stuff, but everything you just said, I feel like I can sense it in meeting you. But let's say that isn't the walks. Do you feel like though in 26 years that you can like everybody kind of has the same problem somewhere along the line. Like, do you feel like you
our
could
problems
say that?
universalized,
Yes,
kind
like
of.
it's not just like maybe like there might be some problems that we feel like are black problems that you can be like, whoa, hold on, I had a whole Caucasian family that had the same situation. Like, do they meet? Or are there still differences after 26 years?
I mean, I think if we're following a philosophy or a value system that, we're all connected in some way, then I think there is a way to recognize the similarities in our life experiences. But do I think that, each person kind of has their own interpretation, their own value system, their own just, emotional kind of situation that goes hand in hand with what they're going through, then yeah, of course, it's very personal. And I can't sit here and say, someone who's not black, that I know exactly what you're going through by all means. But what I will say is that I definitely do my best to empathize and have compassion for, and I've supported a lot of people to have a good sense of kind of some of those universal issues that I think all humans go through.
Right. Let me just say this.
Yeah, but
Molly, you're definitely not under the gun. Like, I just want you to know
your
that.
body in this too, honestly.
I just want you to know that, like, you're not under fire or anything like that. These are all like preface questions.
I love this.
No,
this
your
is
body
beautiful.
and
I
your
just
body.
never know where how people
conversations.
are taking things or feeling and whatnot. So I just want to make sure that you know that.
I
no
love
attack on Molly.
No, I don't feel attacked at all.
See, some people, like, and I say that, what's funny? I say that because I deal with people in my own personal life that will feel attacked by just basic questions. So I'm just making sure.
No, I seriously welcome them. I appreciate it. And I love that we can touch upon questions that maybe a lot of people aren't asking. Because that's the beauty, and I think that's kind of the purpose of this, right?
And your body in it too.
It feels like that's kind of the intention.
Right, and that's good vibes. That's positivity. That's what happens when you bring positivity to the podcast.
No, you're right.
Only positive things can happen.
You're right.
You know what? If I was
the
other piece too, like if I was working with someone who was like, Molly, I can't work with you because you're a white woman, I'd be like, let's find somebody who you can work with that works for you. Like, I'm not going to try to like force you to do anything that you don't want to do, and I understand it. Right? I know a lot of women that are like, I want to seek a woman for XYZ, whatever it may be, because they feel more comfortable with a woman. There's times where I might say, even though you feel very connected to women, maybe working with a man would be helpful for you. That might be an area. Maybe you didn't grow up with a father figure in your life, or maybe you've had some trauma from a man, and it might be helpful to work with a man who you can really trust. Like, it might be helpful for you to kind of push a little bit in that direction, so you can start to bridge any gaps within yourself around that, fear. But I'm not saying it's always the case, but sometimes, we'll talk about that.
Another question for you, Molly. Yeah. This is a segue question. Do you feel like there are bad therapists? They're not, like, all good therapists are not good therapists?
I think...
Question mark.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who go into this field because they want healing. And, sometimes...
For themselves?
Yeah, for themselves. Because who doesn't want healing for themselves, right? I mean, there's probably some who don't. Right. But I think most people want to do better in their life, right? Want to feel better.
Does it actually heal? Would it heal you, like, to go through that?
So I think that there can be, by all means, some healing that happens in the process. But I think sometimes, because one of the recommendations actually when you are in graduate school getting your master's for this field is to be in counseling yourself, not just to experience what it's like, to kind of as a role model for the other therapists that you're in counseling with. But also to work through whatever's coming up. When I was in graduate school, a big part of the program also was like tapping into the countertransference. Countertransference are the feelings that the therapist is having when they're in session with their clients. Transference are the feelings that the client is having when they're in session with the therapist, because there's feelings that are going to come up. We're all human. It's always happening, right? We can't deny ourselves of emotions and thoughts. So when I was in graduate school, that was something that they really stressed a lot, was like, tune into what's coming up for you and make sure that you have a space and a place to be able to process that stuff. So a lot of my clients are therapists. I see a lot of therapist clients because we all need support. You
Right,
know
of
what I mean? But separate from that, you know, it's like we've got our tools, and it's a big burnout field. So a lot of people in this field do get burnout. To answer your question about like bad therapists, there's a lot of people who I think, you know, they take on more than they can chew, kind of a deal.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of agencies out there that are, you know, overwork, underpay employees, so they're struggling within themselves to be able to carry the load on top of what's going on in their personal life. But then we have the expression, I don't know if you all have heard of it, but wounded healer. Have you ever heard that? A wounded healer?
I haven't heard about it self-explanatory.
But it makes sense, right? Yeah. So it's like someone who's, you know, there to help others in their healing process, but they have their own wounds that are unhealed. So sometimes you'll get that too.
I think
So is that like a very, very, very long yes?
I would say that there's definitely some therapists out there that probably need more support.
Yeah, I feel like she was saying it was more
in the nicest way.
System.
Yeah, you explained it.
Okay. More than just.
I think you explained it super well. Like, but like the only reason I asked that is because the way that you have answered the question so far, like he says, he's been saying you've been bodying and whatnot. I can see another therapist bombing. And like just saying things that are like, why did he say that, or why did she say that? And like, is he serious or whatever? Like,
but that's what would turn me away from therapy,
right?
Because they'll be so like, I get exactly what you're saying.
So
they'll be so straight on.
That's
whatever
why I asked
line
that question.
they're on.
Exactly.
And you're right.
Like with like someone, especially with the black question, like that could have been either super uncomfortable for a therapist or saying like, oh well, I don't see color or something. Just a bad answer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like you handle the questions professionally and like appropriately and different things of that nature and whatnot. With that being said, now it like again, it kind of specifies on the black community, more so on the black male community. As a therapist, no, actually, before we get into that, one of the topics is Donald Trump. How do you feel about Donald Trump? Shit.
Now she's silent. Oh my goodness.
That was a good pause.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, my fault.
No, you good.
Let's just say I have concerns. I have a lot of concerns.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm someone who wants world peace.
Okay.
I want world peace.
Okay.
I want humanity to wake up. I want us to take care of this planet better. I want people to treat each other better.
Do you think we'll get that with Donald Trump?
And it's challenging. I mean, I don't watch a lot of news, you know, and I kind of hear and see things as I hear and see them, and how that all unfolds,
I'm the same
right?
way.
Yeah.
Nature.
Based off that statement, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Did you vote?
Yeah.
All right, good. At least you voted.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you're not.
I always vote.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, well, I guess
I'm always a voter.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got that.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago that women weren't allowed to vote.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't that long ago that black people weren't allowed to vote.
There you go.
Damn. He's trying to kick me
Yeah, it's tough.
He's kicking my back end. You don't know it. You don't know it all.
Not even.
But you're helping him too
Not
a little
even.
bit.
Not even. It's not that aggressive.
But yeah, I mean, listen, it's really important for me to not let fear dictate my path. That's like one of my mantras is like, do not let fear dictate your path. And I believe that we have a lot of people on this planet who are out for good, you know, and are really here to make this world a better place. But some of the recent information that I've heard, which I sent to you.
You sent to me.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
Is concerning, yeah, because I work in these communities where people really need the support that's being lent, and so if that's going to be taken away to a grand extent, then there's going to be concerns, you know, and I have major concerns about that.
Do you see any good in
But I
him?
also don't want to let fear
wait.
dictate my path either. So.
Molly, feel free to tell me. Feel free to tell me to fuck off. But I've asked just about every guest that's been on here. Now you told me you voted. Who'd you vote for?
No comment.
Ooh, no comment.
No, see,
no
we might have got
comment.
the
No comment.
You should have let me go first. You should have let me go first.
It's fine.
Do you
Well,
see
so-
what? Do you
so-
see
No,
any
let
good?
her go. Let her
All
go.
right.
Damned if you do, damned if you
don't. That's a fact.
I would just prefer to leave like the specifics, the political specifics. They
Okay.
say you shouldn't talk
have that
politics.
right.
No, you're
especially
right.
At
You
a,
have
at
absolutely
a
have that.
holiday
Yeah.
dinner.
You have that.
It's
That's your
Easter.
right. That's
you know
your
what
right.
I'm saying? It's Easter.
That's
so
your
we
right.
gotta respect the holiday dinner.
Respect is given.
Okay.
So I'm
But,
off that then.
That's a
No,
cool.
but really, I think it's more about us addressing kind of the issues that are affecting our world.
Jesse, you.
No, I'm not asking my question now.
I started a trend.
I'm gonna respect
I started a
Easter.
trend.
It's Easter. Happy Easter. There's the egg right there. Somebody forgot it on the hunt. It's underneath that
Oh
couch.
my God.
There it goes.
Oh my God.
Woo! Did you manage to save that drink, or
What?
you didn't spew it all over the floor?
No, we're good. We're good. I'm gonna clean it up. You already know. Woo! But a little like vapor came up for sure.
Listen, we don't want to offend the Easter Bunny.
No,
No,
not at all.
No.
It wasn't on an egg for sure, so we're good. All right, Molly. That was again a preface for the question. The question is, as a therapist, we didn't really get on too deep on your views on Donald Trump. And that's fine. As a therapist, what does it say about with what you know about Donald Trump about a black man who supports Donald Trump as a therapist, from a therapist's perspective?
Well, I think of the post I think that you had posted recently, right? About how could any black person support a president who's racist? How could any woman support a president who is misogynistic, right?
I'm listening.
Do you
Is that
have
a no comment?
Well,
Do
no,
you
no.
have, no. Do you have an answer to that? I want to know if there's an answer to that.
I'm listening.
Is
But you were in the middle of your.
I have a
dialogue.
wonderful quote for that. You ready for a little bit more wisdom?
Let's go. I like this.
Audre Lorde said,
You can't hide
I
behind
love his
quotes.
face.
Molly, you can't hide behind
No,
quotes.
it
I
might
feel like
be.
you're-
I gotta see how deep
now.
it
I
is.
feel like you're
I gotta
always on
see
the
how
edge.
deep it
You're
is.
like,
You're
what's
good,
about
you're
It
to
good.
depends on how
pop?
deep this quote is.
Let's hear it.
So this is by Audre Lorde, who's a wonderful poet and author. She said, "The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house."
That was a interesting choice of words.
Wait, say that again. Hold on. Let me see. The master's tool.
The master's tools will never dismantle the master's
So
house.
in this conversation, the
Molly.
president is the master's tools. Because I feel the same. I don't
Molly,
know.
that was a crazy choice. That was out of all the quotes you got, that was probably the craziest one for you to throw in that
Well,
at
what
that
do you
point.
think of when I say, when I recite that quote by Audre
Go
Lorde?
nuts, Jesse.
All right, so I
I
actually
love
had.
that quote.
I actually
I'm not saying
had
it's a bad
Let's
quote.
talk about it.
I'm not saying it's a bad quote.
We'll
Just the
talk about
timing
it.
of it was crazy. Go
I
nuts,
actually
Jesse.
had a back and forth before. That's what's funny about this with Mama Love, with Miss Jeanette, when Donald Trump first got into presidency.
I'm listening. I'm just
We was talking, and
I'm the host. That's
I
what
feel like I could be
I'm listening,
wrong.
I'm listening.
But listen to my response, because I feel like that's what she's saying. I feel like I ended up telling her like he can't. I'm not gonna let him. He's not gonna be like, yeah, he makes laws and all that, but he's not gonna dictate how I go on with
your day-to-day life.
everyday life. So as he can affect the world. I can't. There's nothing I could do about that. I just can't.
Well, go ahead.
I just can't let him affect me or
I get what
my
you're saying.
surroundings.
Yeah,
Type
you
of thing.
gotta keep
and
pushing
I feel
regardless.
like that's what she means. But I could be wrong. But I feel like he's just there for a period of time. Like if you are on your dean or whatever you want to call it for the specific person, you should still be able to stay on your rocker. No.
No, I'm not
Like-
mad. I'm not mad at what you just said. I honestly, like what you said more than what Molly just said. Molly, you actually have to repeat. Do me a favor and repeat your quote and don't use the word master. Use like
Well, it's
teacher.
It's not my quote. It's Audre Lorde's quote.
It's
But
the quote that you chose.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
It's not as funny.
so
No,
what-
she
what
said she
would-
passed it to Audrey, man, quick just now. It's not my quote.
It's not my quote. I'm just reciting.
Right. Now
a
you're
little
good. I know
Audre
it's not
Lorde.
your quote. It's not Molly's quote, but it's one of in Molly's arsenal. But it's fine. As
It's
far
in
as
my-
the
yeah,
collection.
it is in my toolbox. 'cause
Exactly.
It's really powerful and it's very meaningful to me.
Can you say it again?
But you don't want me to use the word master.
You can do it however you want to do it. I gotta listen to
So
it.
I mean,
I
if
know
you
that
want
you're
it to be a quote, it's
gotta.
gotta.
Oh, yeah. Why
The
not?
master's tools will never dismantle the master's house.
Let her. Now can you break that down?
You
for
love
us?
that quote?
I don't know yet. I don't know.
No,
I'm in the middle.
She loves the quote.
Oh, I'm
So
in the middle.
let's
I
go
hear
first.
you, but I'm in the middle
you
right
might have
now.
to lower your mic. Just a
Okay,
little
my
bit.
fault.
No, you're good. Just you getting passionate.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know how that.
Yeah, I'm in the middle right now,
No,
so I'm
but
not
Molly loves that quote, and Molly, I'm not surprised if you love that quote, but we're gonna see why you love that quote.
I think first we need to check in with you about your interpretation of it. What's your interpretation?
So initially, well, first of all, let's go with my interpretation, because let's use your words and go with my interpretation. My interpretation is that once I hear it, it doesn't resonate much with me, because I don't like sayings or quotes that holes can be poked in. Like the quote is, a master's tool can't dismember a master's house.
Dismantle.
Dismantle a master's house.
Master's tools cannot
Jesse, if
dismantle.
you're the master of the house, and you're the master of the house that put the house together with a set of tools. If I use those tools, I can break down your house.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why that
But
quote.
that's
I'm giving you my interpretation.
That's why I want.
That's why I want. Yeah, I was. But she put it.
I
on
hear
me.
what you're saying. The
But why do
simplest
you
form
love
of
it?
You're right.
So let's just forget my interpretation, because it's negative, like low key. But why do you love that quote? And I'm gonna tell you why I didn't like it off rip. But go ahead.
Because if there's anything, let's just say anything that bothers you, right? Anything that's going on in the world, anything that's going on in your home, in your community, whatever the case may be, that bothers you, you can't, let's say it's a person, right?
Okay.
We're talking about Donald Trump right now, right,
Okay.
as an example, but it could be anybody. Just think of even somebody in your own personal life who you don't like. If you want to dismantle what they've created, you can't use their tools to do it. You got to use your own.
Now I need you to say that again. Sorry. I got a comment, and I was listening, but I was like, I needed to listen more at that point. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah. So just
No, I might like that quote now that she just
Go
said
ahead.
that. She
You
might
liked
got
it
a
before.
point right
You
there.
liked it before. Don't
No,
let this
hold
one
She's
on.
not even
go.
happy
Hold
with
on.
you saying that.
Wait, say it again, because I don't know. I want to hear your response to that.
Your mic gotta be low as hell, but it's not. It's good. It's good. Hopefully,
I'm
it's
gonna have to
good.
lower mine. We just
Hopefully,
laugh over
hopefully, I
here.
know. Just you probably the loudest one though. It's
Oh,
fine.
my fault. I don't know.
Okay.
Not lower. Just lower. Just
All right, Jaylani, you
I've had
focus.
episodes with you.
You
Okay.
focus. Do we need an essential oil to just
I'm super
breathe
focused.
in?
No, that
and
would make
just-
me unfocused.
Okay. So just think about anyone or any system that really bothers you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming maybe Donald Trump is one of those people. All right, so let's think about that.
You got. I'm all
Now,
ears.
if you want to dismantle, well, let's just use Donald Trump since obviously he was brought up here, right? If you want to dismantle the system that he's built, are you going to use his tools to dismantle it? Or are you going to say, yo, Donald Trump,
No, it's terrible.
let me get
Oh,
your
no, it's terrible.
tools
No, and
to
I got it.
break
No, no, no.
down the system that you just created?
All right, I'm gonna
or are
wait
you
for
going to
you to
use your
find-
own
Molly,
tools? Or are you going to use other people's tools that you trust or who you really
Molly,
feel aligned
Molly,
with?
respectfully, 1,000% respectfully, love you. That's garbage. But what were you
Yeah?
gonna say?
No,
What
no,
were you
I want to know why.
Not
that's
you,
garbage.
not anything, but the quote itself, in my opinion, especially with the example or analogy you
No,
just
wait,
You
brought.
don't like
answer
that
my question.
example?
Answer my
Go
question.
ahead. And yes.
Just
go ahead.
you're gonna
No, I need you to go. Go.
please.
Because
No,
I'm
no,
still in the
Jaylani,
middle.
you have to answer the question,
Oh
though.
yeah, of course.
You don't like Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
You don't like the system maybe that he is
Yeah.
playing with, let's
Yeah.
just say. If you want to break down that system, if you want to improve what it is that he's created, are you going to say, hey, Donald Trump, let me get your tools so that I can dismantle this system in order to break it down?
Or in
All
a
right,
simpler
let me-
sense, are
Or
you
to
going to
make
attack
what's
him?
demise.
Ready?
Or are you going to attack
ready?
him the
Whose
same
tools
way
are you
he's
gonna
attacking
use?
people?
Are you
Like
ready?
his tactics.
Are you ready?
Go.
All right, bud. His quote unquote system, the American system, is built by white men. I'm not gonna use Mexican tools, black people's tools, anybody else's tools. I'm not even gonna be able to use the tools. But the only way to dismantle, not even the only way, but the best way, the number one best way and most efficient way to dismantle America's system is by white men dismantling the system, which is AKA their tools. Their tools. but they're not going to do that because they're in the best position. So again, that speaks to why that
Wait,
statement.
hold on.
I get what
So
you're saying too, but I
Okay.
feel like even simply as what she said, I get what she's saying too, because simply it's like even the scenario that we talked about, like you're not gonna attack, you're not gonna knock somebody off their rocker with their own stuff. You're gonna do it your way.
Wait,
Like,
so
and
But
that's
you're
how
talking
you
about
just-
a conversation, an argument or whatever. You're talking about in a debate stance. Like we're talking about two different examples. She's using the example of Donald Trump and his system, which is the government, which is the American system, which is he's now changing the system.
But
Look, perfect example. As a white man, he's now changing the American system. Who can do that? Donald Trump, a white man.
That's
Barack
a fact.
Obama, 9 times out of 10, most likely, could not have done what Donald Trump is doing because Barack Obama is not a white man.
Okay,
So
I get what
again,
you're saying.
with white
So
men's
you're
tool, the
saying
masters.
even if you
That's why I
wanted
like.
to.
That's why
You're saying even if you wanted to, you couldn't use those tools.
But even exactly, that's another, and that's another, and that's another point.
I get that too.
And that's another point.
Okay,
That's not even
okay.
this. That's not even the point, but that's another point. The best tools are the white man's tools because they made it. So they and the best user is a white man because they made it.
Yeah.
So he can change. Not only can he continue on the path, but he can change it to his own rhetoric. Right now, people are viewing America with Donald Trump as president, as a dictatorship more than it's ever been. And he's the only one that can do that because, again, it's a white man in power, a rich white man in power, by the way. He's a billionaire. Using a white man's tools, the same tools that America was founded on, and now he's using tools to change it. So, like, that's what I'm saying. He's
Okay.
With that example, it's like I'm sure you can use another example where it could be different, but that example is just like
All right.
Me personally, I just took it as like surface level, kind of like
Right, surface
the
level
way
could probably
Donald
be
Trump
used.
is like.
But let Molly,
You're not about
Molly
the-
and me
All
are
right,
right now.
go ahead, do
Molly,
your
what's
thing,
your
do your
response to
thing.
I'm
everything I
being
just
so
said?
patient. I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay.
just, yeah.
Keep
Jesse Weeks.
sharing. Keep
Do your
sharing.
thing.
People only have as much power as we give them. So if you say that the only way to change the system is to let the white man have his tools to do it, even though you're believing that he's not going to do it, you're giving someone so much power. Why would you not? Why would you sell yourself short?
Molly,
Wait,
I disagree.
hold on,
I'm sorry.
hold on.
Go nuts.
Don't you believe in the power for other people to step in and make change? Isn't that what your podcast is about? Isn't that what so much of what you do, even your artwork, isn't it all about helping to create change and not be reliant upon others whose systems you don't believe in
But who said
or you don't align
who
with?
said I
to be
rely
the
on
ones?
Donald Trump's system?
You just said that quote, right? The master's tools will
I never said I rely on Donald Trump's system.
The master's, just hear me out.
I'm listening. Fair enough.
The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house, right? Your response to that was you said that white men would have to use their own tools in order to dismantle the house, which let's say it's our house, right? This is our country, we all share it, right? We all live here. How about instead of relying upon them to utilize the tools that you don't even believe they're going to utilize to dismantle a system that maybe has some problems, we come together and we do what we got to do to try to make that change
Right.
for the benefit of the people we care about and for the benefit of ourselves, right?
Here's my thing. I didn't say that they would have to. I said that they are the number one. That's the number one productive, like efficiency. Like obviously we could come together, kumbaya, figure out. That's likely especially if we go into World War III. That's likely what people are going to have to do. But again, if you wanted a fast result, do you know what I mean? Like it's just to the point of the quote, not necessarily to like anything else but the quote. Donald Trump is a white man, a white billionaire. He got into presidency. Honestly, like he's using
To change the, let me ask you this,
Go.
because I don't think you really are understanding the quote.
You're mixing.
wait,
I'm
no,
sorry.
check this out.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you're mixing the quote with Donald Trump. So if the quote was just a quote by itself, then we probably
But
have a different
I'm
conversation.
gonna make it really simple.
Go nuts.
Okay, just answer this very simply.
I love this.
If you wanted to change the system,
Yeah.
right, that Donald Trump is a part of, Are you going to use his tools
That's
to change
what I
it?
felt like. That's all she
Or are
was
you going to
going
use
with.
your
That's
own
as far
tools?
as she
Or are
was
you going to
going
use
with.
maybe somebody else's tools who you really respect, who you trust, and who you believe has the power to dismantle something that isn't right?
So I
It's
took,
just like,
I took it
if-
as that
if-
way,
if
and
you
I
were-
took it as
if
how
you
is
were
that
gonna-
the master if
you
I'm
were
not
gonna- look,
using
though,
his
one more
tools?
question. If you were gonna,
Wait,
if you,
one simple question.
One
Go
more
ahead, go ahead.
question.
Okay.
If you were gonna paint a mural,
Oh, I'm trying
Okay.
to answer the questions
if you were
effectively.
gonna paint a mural, okay, and you forgot your paintbrushes, Donald Trump has some paintbrushes that you could use, or we got our boy over here who's got some paintbrushes that you could use. Whose paintbrushes are you gonna borrow?
All right, I want to answer both those questions.
Okay.
So that's okay. One, changing and dismantling are two different things. Dismantling a system and changing a system are different. So to dismantle America, like we already had a black
So
president.
which one did she?
We don't
Which
need
one
to
was
dismantle
first?
America.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
The system of America, how America operates.
No, go ahead. I'm with you.
Whether the judicial
Well-
system, the executive system, the legislative system, all those systems.
There are some things that are working, right?
If I didn't have,
I want you to
if I
finish,
didn't, if
'cause
I
I'm
didn't
wearing-
have you here, Molly, I
I
would have
mean,
had a comment for you.
I think we're pretty blessed in a lot of ways, don't you think?
Molly, see now you're pushing me to, you're pushing me. You're
I'm gonna
pushing
shut
it.
up. and you're gonna talk.
Definitely don't shut up.
No, not for good. I'm saying no.
No, yeah.
Finish your piece.
But you also gotta
I like
understand
your
you
pics, by
talking
the
to
way,
a
those are cool.
therapist.
What?
You also gotta understand you talking to a therapist.
I mean,
so,
that's
you
why
know, they
she's
see-
here. 'Cause she's
they just see happy, you know. So when we
That's
try
not-
to,
that's not
she's
facts.
gonna see happy.
That's not facts.
I'm not saying they just see happy,
Yeah.
but they find all right.
They find
they
that.
don't.
We
they,
do our best to try to
yes,
help
find
people
happy.
transform the obstacles into blessings in disguise.
Yes.
Hey,
But back to your.
That's-
I don't
point.
want this.
Share.
I don't want this to get this messy.
Go.
It's
You
not
gotta
messy.
finish.
It's
I don't
not
She might have got you.
messy.
She
I didn't
brought
hear
it back
what she
to.
said.
She brought it back.
I didn't hear
She
what she
brought
said.
it. Yeah, she
I
brought it
didn't hear
back.
what she said. Tell me what she said.
She said blessings in disguise. That was the
Oh,
quote
I mean,
she started.
I like that. I like that
She
quote.
brought it back.
I like that
Okay,
quote.
okay,
I'm
go
good with
ahead.
that quote. I wish she would have stayed there. To answer your second question, because I want to get off this, I want to get messy. If I had to
Paintbrushes.
choose between Donald Trump's paintbrushes and Jesse's paintbrushes, I'm using Jesse's paintbrushes. Anyway, let's keep it
So
going.
that's why you love the quote, because that's what the quote
Whoa,
is about.
whoa.
That's what the quote is about.
We can talk. We can talk
Listen,
more.
you gotta check out Audre Lorde.
He said,
All of y'all, check out
whoa,
Audre
whoa, is she an
Lorde.
author?
Yeah,
I'll read a book.
and a poet.
Okay, so wherever that master came from, we'll skip that chapter, but it's fine. As a therapist, I don't even know if this question even matters anymore. Well, just to get your answer at this point, what does it say about a black man who supports Donald Trump?
Oh, you asked me that.
Did you answer? Oh, you gave that quote as your answer. That quote.
Well, no, I was sharing about the post that you just did. Yeah,
did
where
give
you
that
you
quote.
You did give
identified.
that
Dang, now that that's
Yeah.
full circle, he might have got you there.
No, it's not about
That
getting
was-
anybody.
I know that.
Yeah,
I know
we
that. I'm
just chopping up. We told him to the
yes,
therapist.
yes.
Me and Jesse going to therapy right now.
If you're under the impression, right? I'm speaking generally. Like if somebody's under the impression that someone is racist or misogynistic
Okay.
or homophobic or
Being very careful with your words.
adopting any of the isms, right, that we've got on this planet, then by all means you have to kind of ask yourself, like, why would I be supporting somebody who is against something or as someone that I represent?
So my
No,
question
no,
a long time
let
ago.
her finish. Let her finish. Are you-
That's it.
gosh,
Yeah, that's it. It's
So,
simple.
but you did. That didn't answer the question. That says you got a question. You answered the question saying
Can I-
that someone has to question it.
I promise. Can I just ask this question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you see any positive in Donald Trump? Like anything that he is standing for? Do you see anything generally? Like, is there anything that's like, well, I like this that he's going with this? Is there anything?
I have concerns.
Okay. That's all I needed. Now you can keep
Molly
You
answering
can
like a
keep going now.
politician.
You
right
can keep
now.
going now. I get it. That's all. That's it.
I have concerns.
Next question is for you, bro. As a therapist, hopefully we get because that last answer wasn't a direct answer. But hopefully we get a direct answer out of this one. In my opinion, as a therapist, why do you think society doesn't have the same supportive energy for single fathers as they do for single mothers? At the same time, I got you both. Oh my God! Hold on, that's crazy. Take your time. This is what I'm here for.
Tough.
Single moms versus single dads.
It's society.
No, society.
so
Yeah, it's not single mom.
Yeah,
not
don't
versus.
do that. See, that might be where the problem
See,
starts.
Jesse, I'm trying to
That
tell
might be
you.
where the problem
I'm
starts.
trying to tell you.
Society. I need to hear this.
I can't do this. That almost went on my nose. Woo! Or do you not even feel that way? Do you like? Not even that you feel that way. Why do you feel like society? Let's keep it at that. Why do you feel like society?
Favors, was that the question?
As a therapist, why do you think society doesn't have the same supportive energy for single fathers as they do for single mothers?
Well, what would lead you to believe
The
that?
question is brought to you by Jesse Caney, so take it away, Jesse.
Damn. I'll take it away, I guess. But
tell me.
Well, I didn't even know he was gonna do this. He didn't tell me this before. This is
Come on, this is how that's how we operate. Organic.
So I don't. I guess only thing I can speak from is experience. You know, and in a lot of my experience, I feel like anytime I to the point now where like there was a time frame where I would stop talking about my kids' success because I felt like the consensus was using it as like, man, you just saying that so we think you being a good dad, or you just, instead of like listening to what's happening and taking it for what it is, they felt like I was just trying to portray a title. And for a while it confused me a little bit too. I used to have to sit sometimes and think like, am I trying to portray a title? Like, or am I really a good dad? Am I really like, you know, but I think that...
What would the title be though, that you think others would portray or would want you to portray?
I think
or would think that you were portraying?
I think a bigger majority of this town as a whole are... Damn, I'm trying to find a respectful word, but I don't know. It's half-ass. Half-ass. It might not be as respectful as I could have got.
If you would have just said it, I wouldn't have laughed. But the way that I can't
like,
think of
yeah,
a word.
I'm trying to, but
a positive
like,
word.
most of the majority, and I know some, and you know, I see it around or whatever. But so for the dad, that's like more than half, whatever. I feel like, so personally, in my own experience, I feel like people have given the mother excuses instead of saying, skip the mother, she's not doing what she's having to do. Let's praise the dad that's there and doing something. And then when I feel like it's men versus women, they'll just kick the dads back in. So like I feel like you're giving the mom a pass and not giving the dad a praise, but vice versa is you're giving the mom a praise and you're kicking the dads back in. So it's just in my experience, that's what I've seen. And not even necessarily for myself, I've just seen it growing up. And so I feel like,
I think part of it is that, I think people typically have seen more single moms than single dads, right? Or just more present moms maybe than present dads. And I think I'm seeing that change. Like I'm seeing that that's improving, where more dads are showing up and whatnot. And that's a beautiful thing. I have so much respect for single dads.
I mean, no doubt. I know
like,
you personally. You got
so
your
maybe
son
preaching to the choir, but
not saying he's single, but you're seeing him be a father too. So you're seeing it firsthand for yourself. Oh yeah,
I mean, it warms my heart to see my son with my grandson and just taking such good care as such a young man. My son is 22, and it's beautiful to watch that process. Or just any man that shows up for his kids is beautiful, but. Yeah.
Right. No, so in that, I would say for me, so I had my kid at 17. I feel like at those ages, men, especially at those ages, need that. Like what you're saying, like they need, like whether they want to tell you that or not, they need it at that age. I don't need it now. I'm good. I know. But if as a young father, 17 or 18 or 19 or 20 or 21, the women need too, because she might be younger or whatever, but I could tell you from experience, the male needs to hear that from females more so too, like not just male. They need to hear a woman say like, I see what you're doing, keep going, you're doing a good job. Like it's not big, but like, it
goes
just,
a long way.
Yes, it really does. And I'm only speaking from experience. It really
that support,
goes far.
that empowerment.
Yes.
And back full circle, right, to like the first question, right? Just about like, you know, why is there this stigma to get support? You know, why do men have this or black men have this?
She's good with full circles. I like that.
Yeah.
That's like your third point. I like it. That's
But really,
fire.
it comes into play, I think, in this topic too, right? Because I think there are a lot of parents in general, whether female or male, that, you know, struggle as parents, because who doesn't? It's not an easy job by any means. But if you're going through it single, it's that much harder at times, right? And so you really do need the support. But if there's a part of you that feels like, man, you know, I'm a little too vulnerable to be able to receive that support, then it's going to make your job as a parent much harder, you know?
And you're gonna hate me, but I gotta use
All right, no, I saw you picking at your mic. Yo, Jesse, before you go, that is what you call, like, if you blend the podcast with basketball, that's what you call oop. Like,
Nah, you
that
just
question. Yeah, come on, I got
You
you.
didn't tell me
Yeah,
it's
I know. That's a surprise oop. Dwayne Wade and LeBron. Oh man, how you feeling, Molly?
Good.
First time on
It's
the
so
pod?
lovely to be
In your
on
own
a
space?
podcast here in our space.
I can't even imagine what that feels like for you. Like, I almost felt like I wasn't really don't really feel like it, but it almost feels like when I was thinking about like something I could equate it to is like throwing a house party with the parents home or some shit like that. But like for you, I can't even put myself in the shoes of that type of situation. You're always here, like at work and whatnot, but like now you're here for the podcast.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
very
it
cool.
always, it warms my heart always to see people in our space, because we created this space
Yeah,
for that
exactly.
purpose.
Yeah.
For it to be, you know, community oriented and for people to connect in all the ways that they do. For, you know, particularly with this podcast, it's like for different topics to raise, you know, all sorts of questions within
sweating?
ourselves.
Are you sweating?
No,
Oh,
I
that's
feel.
good. That's good.
Yeah, just to really to challenge some of our perspectives, to challenge some of our values, to see things in a different light,
Right.
to feel each other, to understand each other's stories, and come to a better place within ourselves around what all of this means.
Right.
Because there's a lot that comes into play
Yeah,
as we move through this life.
I love this because this is. It's funny, the similarities or the parallels between what you do for a living and what we're doing right now. Like, I feel like there are similarities between it and whatnot. And to speak to your point about challenging different point of views and whatnot, a lot of times I think it's weird, but it's more common than being weird or like rare or whatever. Like, that can lead to disrespect and whatnot, or disrespectful or like energy and whatnot. But I try my best to keep it positive and respectful and whatnot. With men, I'm more like a little ruthless and whatnot, because like whatever. But
Come on in.
I wanted to quote unquote challenge things with you, but also keep the respect, especially since it's your first time here. So I don't want you to feel like anything is out of whack or whatever. You deserve all the respect.
You're so sweet.
Until you say something crazy.
No, this stuff doesn't faze me at all. I love it. I love it. I welcome it. I appreciate it. It's good stuff. And I've been checking out your podcast for a while now, so it's not like this is new to me.
Right.
You know, today's day. There's so many times that I've watched the podcast and I've been like, I have so much commentary, and I'm like, maybe one of these days I'll go on there so I can have my own.
Yeah, and what's it called? The thing is that, especially because like, I don't like as long as you like enjoy the vibe of the episode, like you can always come back to shit. So it's like that's kind of in my opinion, the beauty of it.
That's perfect. That might have been a perfect feel for what like a female that's not necessarily afraid, but will really give her genuine opinion.
That's why
dope.
like
That's dope.
Objectively, like everybody. That's why I'm not quote unquote afraid to have anybody on, because everyone has a voice, everyone has an opinion, everyone has different perspectives and whatnot. So some perspectives are not quote unquote better, but they like are more suited and like will give different values than others. So it's just that's the quote unquote the beauty of it, like for lack of better words and whatnot.
So,
I mean, I remember the first time that I met you, you came here with your son.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
You brought him in his little carrier.
I
And I was like, damn, look at you.
Yeah.
Like, parking in Uptown Kingston, because that's always a project in and of itself, and lugging your
See what
boy
I mean?
up here.
See what I mean?
And
That's
you were
what
like,
I
you know, I'm going to bring my
mean.
son with me, Molly. I'm like, please, welcome, you
Yeah.
know. But I love that, you know. It's like, yeah, there's support for, you know, all you dads.
But that's why I feel
and
like
your families
them
and what
males
you're
at
doing.
that age range need to hear that, because a guy's not gonna compartmentalize in his head like, dang, he had to park. The baby might have been crying. He had to get a bottle.
Oh my
He had to put
gosh. The
that's
list
all
goes on.
women stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you really are doing it by yourself, or you could be like, hey, I had my daughters from. One was 12, one was 13, now one's 19, now mom's not there. Like, a female will look at that and be like, that's period, that's this, that's that, that's that. You did that by yourself. So, like, I think that
Right.
when a male's not gonna say that, and it's gonna hit different from a female, and that's just gonna make that guy feel like I'm doing, like, keep going. Not that that should be the only thing that keeps the guy going.
It was funny. That's like a
but
mothering.
it's really gonna help. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I know
Yeah.
I'm doing my big one. Like,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
The other point. Oh yeah. No, you go.
Oh my god.
So much conversation.
I got a question.
Well, I was gonna. Oh, you.
I
do?
got it. Yeah.
Before we get to your question, we got a few comments. Melissa's been going crazy in the comments. As you should. If you're on Facebook or on YouTube, make
Let's
sure
hear
to comment.
Melissa.
And we'll respond to your comment, opinion, question, or whatever. Melissa said because it was uncommon, maybe to your the point about single fathers.
dads.
And
Yeah, but okay. So then I have another. That was my follow-up question.
The next
My
comment
Go ahead.
is
Go ahead.
it's more common now.
Okay.
And then the next comment is there's support for everyone. It's a matter of knowing where to utilize the resources.
So my comment back to that, because you're right, it is more common now, but how much longer in life do we have to go before it's just like it's even now, you know? Like it's like the same. And I'm not saying, like, I know there's certain support, but there still is definitely way more support for single
Well, I think that
mothers
also
than there is for single fathers.
see there's a this relates to the last, I want to say it's the last episode where we were talking about men and women and society. Actually, the last couple episodes, there's societal differences between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
So there are always, I think people are getting closer to viewing men and women as equals, quote unquote. But then it gets weird because people will get like literally like, oh, men are stronger than women, or blah blah, like just difference. Women are smarter than men, whatever. Like, so it's like because of the societal differences, I don't personally think it'll ever be even.
No,
on any part.
So I even know somebody that's going through something right now, and he's a good father, good mother. The kid lives with the mother, but because the mother put in paperwork first, the father was only able to see the kid one day a week. But they're both good. But if the father would have put in paperwork because the kid lives with the mother, what would have happened?
It would have been that.
You know what I mean? So like if the father put choice, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's
But even the judicial
but
system,
it's
that goes
not
to the
even the
that
same
goes
up there.
that goes to the
Family
judicial
court.
system too. So like
Yeah,
the
it's not
judicial
even-
system always is like fucking
Yeah,
upset.
but that's what I mean. But that's I'm full circle when it comes to that single father thing, because it's really not fair all the way around. It wouldn't be the same way if, like, the dad had the kid and the mom, like, she would get more rights to the kid than the dad would get if the mom had the kid, and it was vice versa. It's just.
I think one of the challenges that arises, right, because I've been supporting people through family court forever, is that, you know, it's a complicated system.
Mhm.
And so most of the time people don't want to go to family court, but if you want to change custody or you want to change visitation because
gotta
you want to
go
get
through the
more,
ropes.
you have to go
Yes,
through it.
yeah.
And then there's the question of, you know, do I qualify for maybe a court-appointed lawyer, or, you know, am I going to have to pay a lawyer? In this community, if you want to get a family court lawyer, there's retainers out there that you have to pay $8,000. I heard recently too, somebody paid $10,000.
And they say they give you the
And
money
you think,
back.
oh yeah, there's some
if
money
you-
back. Well,
yeah,
guess what?
no,
Like
you're
every
not getting
single
that back.
minute
Is it
that an
counted?
email
Yes.
is written, that a phone call is done,
Yes,
that you
it's crazy.
travel to and from court,
kinda
that
a good
you
job, though.
that you
It's
go to
crazy.
court, the amount of times that court gets adjourned and postponed. This one didn't show up. Oh, we got to adjourn it again.
I just
That
hate the
attorney is
whole
it's
thing.
fees, and so
And they'll talk
that's
to
the
you.
question,
They'll
right?
talk
It's
to you
like-
on the phone for like an hour, like a therapist, and then end with $8,000 as the
I mean-
retainer. So it's like, dang, you really sounded like you was.
average hourly is $600 an hour for a lawyer. So you think, oh, $10,000 is a lot of money. Well,
It's
guess
not.
what?
You're right.
In maybe 15 hours, you're done. And how many hours does it take to do all the work that it entails? Because it's not just the work face to face with them, it's also what's going on behind the scenes,
That's a
right?
fact.
So anyway, there's a lot that comes into play because, thinking about your friends, for example, it's like he could go to family court, but he's got to do the whole
gotta go through the
shebanger,
process.
you know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep.
And it's time and money,
Yeah.
and then it's also vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because
So-
you got to show up in court, you got people asking you questions. Now your kid has a law guardian, which is an
Yes.
attorney for
And then
the
the kid-
child.
yeah, you don't want
There's
that
lots of
kid
people
back
that get
there.
involved.
Sorry,
Sometimes
yeah,
it's he
it's
said, she
annoying.
said stuff, so it's a
annoying.
lot.
It's
Yeah.
annoying.
The
So
communication.
let me ask you this, and this might be silly, but do you feel like because the woman has the kid, is like the percentage, like let's say it's 100%, is it 60-40 because the woman actually had the kid? Is it 7 in your eyes? Is it
Like,
7,
do you think the
or is
woman
it
has more
50-50?
rights? Like
Yeah.
the mother has more rights
Yeah,
than the father?
I mean, I feel like in the judicial system, I feel like they say it's getting even, but the mother has. But I'm asking you as a woman, do you feel like it's a little more because you had the kid that is
I think it comes
more
down
yours, or do you
to
feel like it's
the
50-50?
caretaker.
Okay.
I think it comes down to how the
Whoever's
person
gonna take care
cares
of the
for
kid
the child
the
or
best.
children
Okay.
the best.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do because
I like that
I've
answer.
seen it all. Yeah,
I
like
that
they're
answer.
just because a woman has a
'Cause I
child
think
doesn't mean
that's
that
what
she's
I-
the best
yeah.
mom. Like,
I know you don't
and
wanna
not to
get
judge
in
any
front of the
women
camera.
who struggle as mothers, but there are some people who really do struggle, and sometimes father is a better fit in that situation. But the other point I wanted to make, I don't know if do you want to switch
No,
topics
if you
or
wanna make a
just
point, go
one
ahead.
last piece, but this divide in the family came from slavery. That's when families were divided, right? So, this perpetual issue that has affected the black community, right, around there being, split families, came from slavery. So, in the amount of time that it's taken for that to become, an ongoing issue, right, it's going to take some time for the families to come back together. But if you look at history, that's where that came from. Families were divided.
So you feel like
And
today it's
so this
easier to
became
do
a
it,
perpetual
and it's easier
issue
today
within the
to just say
community.
F it and go left. You think is that what you're
I mean,
saying?
I think there's a
Straight
lot of issues that create splits in families.
Mhm.
We could talk about, dating is one of your topics here, right? We could talk about all the dating apps, right? That's another, I think, social media. I think there's a lot of reasons why people cheat and why there's split families and all sorts of chaos that can happen. But when you think of how deep the roots can be within some of these, social issues, it goes back to that time. And so it's going to take some time for people to come back together again. And I think we're moving in that direction. That's my belief. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I know Jaylani has some feelings because he's over there making some faces.
Hey, Molly, my name is Jelani, not Jaylani.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, really.
Jelani.
That's it. Perfect.
Hi.
But nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Anyway, the next question is. Now this is we've been on the therapy. Me and Jesse been in therapy for an hour now, so we gotta definitely switch topics.
Switch.
But before we switch topics, there's a little bit of you'll like this. Stay with me.
I'm with you.
Walk
You already got me.
walk
You're
with me.
2 for 2
Bet.
when it comes to surprise.
So you don't. Some people you gotta continuously. They never like
you got it.
get wind of it. All right, bet.
Yup.
Molly. Being is
I'm sorry.
Um,
I'm sorry.
Molly.
Jelani.
This is not. I'm not asking you this as a therapist. As a person, do you feel like coming onto this podcast today that you were doing me, Jelani, a favor?
Ooh. I think I was being supportive. to
That's
your
what I'm talking about,
podcast.
Molly. So, come on, dap me up. Good enough. Good enough. You always gotta do the dap
Doing
test.
you a favor.
Supportive was the perfect word. You pulled it out of my brain.
Now I will
Being
say
supportive. Oh wait.
Go ahead,
So
go
you
ahead.
didn't ask me to
Right.
be on it. You put on your story that you were looking for a woman, and I was like, "Oh, it's Easter Sunday. I'm doing something earlier in the day. I would love to be on it. Let's see." And I think I said to you, "No pressure."
Right.
You know, because you and I have met in this capacity, right? Like with, this space, and we've hung out a little bit, and so I just wanted to make sure that you weren't feeling pressure to have me be on it.
And similar to the second the question previously, Jesse and I had backstory behind it, similar to this one.
This is where it gets good, people.
No, because you answered it
out.
correctly, but I
So
feel like
wait,
that's-
wait.
Okay.
I promise you.
Go ahead.
Now, as a therapist, you said your answer was no. You felt like you were being supportive. A beautiful answer. That's we're on the same page.
No, you're tough. You're
As
tough.
a
tough.
now as a
You're
therapist,
tough. You're tough.
yeah, that's why it's like I don't like. Come on, when I tell you
tough.
when we're
You're
talking,
tough.
when we're texting, I'm like,
You're tough.
come on.
You're tough.
As a therapist, what does it say about someone who views coming onto this podcast as a favor? As a therapist now, what does that say about someone?
I mean, the word that comes through most profoundly is entitlement.
Motherfucker.
Don't leave. This is your podcast.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I didn't leave the building.
I'm only kidding.
I swear to God, I could have been a therapist. Swear to God.
Nah, you could have. I
Swear to
feel
God.
like we all can.
Swear to
because
God.
if you add some of what she says, Jelani, what she said
take it a
earlier
little-
in this, I promise she will have the same views that I said to you last night, just from her
No,
talking
yeah,
before.
this.
But you're
This ain't even
right.
between us.
No,
This ain't okay.
This
This definitely ain't between us.
Yeah.
This was between whoever sees it in the future. Blah blah blah.
No,
blah.
you're right.
Well, now you guys got to give it up.
Oh
No,
I mean,
it's pretty much self-explanatory.
It's self-explanatory, but I can understand you needing the back or being curious about the backstory. Obviously, without saying any names, someone felt entitled, be going off based off of a therapist, the experience and professionalism of a therapist, because they felt like because they weren't being paid to be on the podcast.
Oh,
Whole time, no one's being paid to be on the podcast.
Right.
Podcast.
I didn't think that.
That they're doing me a favor by coming to the podcast. So
Because
I
when
wanted to
you're-
ask
because
you
when
as
you're
a
by
therapist.
yourself, you put the full thing in because when you,
I mean,
they added that.
I honestly I skimmed through that. Like I think I put because there were different sentences. So like but the main sentence was like obviously like I can't bring up the messages obviously, but the main purpose was like the main point was that because I'm not paying them, they're doing me a favor by coming to the podcast. Well, and to bring it full circle and whatnot, you said you don't feel like it's a favor, you're being supportive. That literally, the word support was in my mind.
That's it, yeah.
Because whatever business you have, whether it's a restaurant or any like small business you have, jewelry, dancing, whatever, art, whatever the case is, you're not. If I say Jesse's an artist or a basketball trainer, and I put my kid in his basketball camp, or I buy art from him, I don't feel like, or I don't think that I'm doing him a favor by buying a painting from him, or doing him a favor by putting my kid in his camp. I'm supporting him, and also either I'm supporting him or I'm respecting his craft.
That's a fact.
So I just want, as a therapist, and I'm sorry that
I got a question
that
at the
grittiness
end
came
of this,
out.
too.
That's not getting out on the guys, but
No, that's tough.
Do you want to know my favorite quote?
no.
No, this
No.
one's really
No,
good.
no.
This one's
No,
really good.
we gotta ask. I
Molly,
know.
I know you've been going
Really
crazy. Molly, if you're asking
You're gonna
me,
love this
Molly,
one.
if you're asking me,
You're
I'm gonna say
gonna
no.
love
Molly,
this.
I got enough. I got enough of the
It's
last.
so
The
good.
last one was so good. I don't need to hit this next one.
Nah, go ahead.
Do you want to know
Yeah,
it?
tell him too. I'm gonna listen. I want to hear this.
Oh my god. Do you want to hear it, yo, Molly?
Because I got a question for the end of this though.
That's
I
why-
still could.
That's why your mic's that low. You're that low, but it's alright.
My fault.
Yeah, you're good. That's what you. No, don't do it. Just you're good.
Jelani, you gotta take the cotton out of your mouth and put it in your ear. No, you gotta put the,
Well, I'm about
take
to
the
say,
cotton
that's
out
the
of your
quote?
ears and put it in your
That's
mouth.
the quote? I thought that was the quote.
Is that the quote?
That's the quote?
No.
Okay.
You really don't want to hear my favorite quotes?
Yeah,
What was
I'm
that?
very offended.
That is
Molly,
messed up.
before we get to the quote, what the fuck was that?
No, that was so that you could listen. Take the cotton out of your ears.
That's a
put it in
saying?
your mouth. It is. Yeah, it just means
Molly,
listen.
the timing of that.
I'm just asking you to listen.
Your
Please.
voice tone is funny as
No, do you think? Who's hers?
Molly.
Right.
No,
This
yours.
quote-
I know.
This quote is by Hafiz. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look at what happens to a love like that. It lights up the whole
I
sky.
thought she was gonna go. I only wanted to hear the quote
I'm just glad
because I
it
thought it was
wasn't
gonna
bad.
go
I'm
on
glad
my
it wasn't
thing,
bad.
but I'm still gonna ask my question.
My
'cause she
point
might
is
get it.
that
I'm glad it wasn't bad. Go
if
ahead.
we go through life
Yeah.
saying, you owe me this, you owe me that, I
Yeah.
expected this, I expected
Yeah,
that,
it's to the person.
it's entitlement,
Yeah.
right? And ultimately, you're always going to be disappointed
Facts.
because you're not getting everything from everybody that you want. So my point is that it's not about owing. I wanted to come here because I thought it would be really fun,
Yeah.
good times. If
Yeah.
I was at a place in my life where everything that I do has to be paid, then I would have had a conversation with you about
And
it.
that
I would
probably
have had
wouldn't
an
be a-
expectation that I'd get paid. If you said to me, Molly, I want to give you some money, I would say, no, thank you. Put it
Yes.
towards your
There
podcast
we
because I'm
go.
supportive of that.
Tough.
And that's why I showed up.
No,
You know
Jesse,
what I mean?
I want because
No, that's tough.
I want you to.
You did what you did.
I'm saying to you, but you got something.
Yes, I just want to know. Okay,
He's got.
I always do that. So, all right, so
Thank you
if-
for hearing my
so
quote,
let
Oh
by the
yeah,
way.
thanks for the dap. Let me get another one.
Let me
was good
how
enough.
can I switch it to this? If that had been presented your way, what would you have done with that? Like if
Which?
If
if
someone
you
said they were doing
if you
you a
was
favor?
Oh.
yeah, like if you had somebody coming in here and maybe they were like you felt like you were teaching them how to be better at therapy or whatever you guys got going on here, but you wasn't paying them, and then they hit you with that. What
Hit you
where-
with like they're doing
like,
you a favor.
I'm doing you
How
a
would-
favor
how
because
would
I'm
you-
helping you. When you
how
have
would
two
you
clients, I
have
take you
responded
in
to
another
that?
room.
Yeah.
And
How
you're
would you
not
respond
paying.
to that?
Do you
What
want to do
would
a
be
little
your-
role play?
No,
I'll be you,
I don't
you be
even
that person.
Okay, go ahead. Because we can do real time. I meant like in a couple
She's
weeks.
so
We can do
entertained.
Go ahead, let's roll it.
Okay, I'm you,
Uh-huh.
and you're the person.
Okay, so you want me to come to
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
You're welcome. It was a favor. I was doing you a favor. So next time, I don't know if I'll be able to do it.
You gotta check your schedule, right?
Right. Or you gotta, unless you're paying me like that, might, and then it won't be a favor.
Maybe it would have been helpful for us to have had a conversation about that before we did the podcast. By all means, I was very grateful that you said yes. I'm so glad that you came on. It was lovely to have you. But I was not under the impression that you thought that you'd get paid. Let me just let you know how it works. I'm not paying anybody. I'm in the process of kind of doing my own thing here so that I can get this built up, and eventually maybe that'll be something that I can offer people, but I'm sorry if you were misunderstood.
I like that
Now, listen,
direction,
listen,
but that's
Jesse,
too much.
Jesse,
That's
Jesse,
too much.
Jesse.
No.
You know
I'm
what?
gonna be honest.
Yo,
I like the
let me
direction.
Let me talk to you now.
Go ahead.
You know what a rhetorical question
yes,
is, right?
yes.
Rhetorical question mean like you don't doesn't really need an answer. Obviously, duh.
Yeah.
Should I respond like that?
No,
Fuck
no.
because-
the direction is what I wanted to
listen,
see. That's all I wanted to see.
I understand you answered perfectly. There's nothing wrong with your answer, but
Too much.
You and I,
Knowing the person.
it's not even that. It's
Yeah.
not even too much. You and I are two different people.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
you're a woman. I'm a man. You're white. I'm black. So it's like we're not going to answer the same way. We're not dealing with the same people, and we're not going
Right.
to answer the same way. So it makes sense. I understand exactly why and
I
how.
was
you
just
answer
looking
that.
for direction. But
Right.
that's all.
Right.
So,
So
the direction is
we're,
right.
We're being
but
Jesse
I-
at this point.
No,
I think
you're right.
I think I would transmute that favor into gratitude for showing up. And now that I know how you roll and what your expectations
That's
are,
all I needed to hear. If you
We're
would have just
gonna-
said
we're
that,
gonna
there
shift
we
it.
go. That's it. That's
We'll
it.
shift it next
So the
time.
direction was right, but I get what you're saying too.
And
I
I
get what
think-
you're
I
saying.
think the-
I get what
the
you're saying
closest
more
way- the closest-
because she just answered like that
Right, right.
before.
Yeah.
I literally get what you're saying
Exactly.
more because
Exactly.
she gave
and
you
sometimes
that
we need
full
examples.
answer. Okay,
but
so I get it.
I think what would make it closer in like from your answer from my answer is if it was. Do you have close girlfriends?
Yeah. Lots.
Would you have responded that way if they said they were doing you a favor for you?
I might say, doing me a favor.
Yeah, okay. All right, now you got it. No, you're right. I get it.
Oh my God!
All it took was her.
I can't-
Once she
I
gave
can't
the
keep
first
doing this.
answer mad long,
I can't keep doing
I
this.
got you. I got you.
Yo, and this is why I
promise.
swear-
Once she gave
Doing me
the
a
big
favor.
answer, I understood. Once she gave the big answer,
I'm
I
getting
got
chills.
It depends who it is. But
Exact-
yes,
I
that
know,
could
I
be-
know, Molly.
That could be a response of like, doing me a favor.
I know, Molly.
Like
because
in essence, because honestly, I think this is a beautiful thing. Like I that should be respected and
enough, right.
honored
Yeah,
and
yeah,
revered.
yeah.
It's like, if we start getting into like, oh, I gave you more, you shouldn't have given me as much,
And it's
all
not
of that,
even
then
fun
it
no
becomes
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, it's a fact.
exactly.
Yes.
It takes the fun out of it. It
But-
takes the joy out of it. It's
But
like,
it's
we
not
gotta be
even that
grateful
close
for-
because it's his, you know. So it's not saying it like that because he doesn't even say it like that, but it's his. So I get where he's coming from, where it's like, bro, like I gotta be on timing, I'm promoting, I'm scheduling. I gotta know because I gotta put a picture out. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I get exactly where he's coming from, but I like pretty much what you said is kind of the direction you went is kind of what I was saying to him, like, bro, like. It shouldn't even be how you started the podcast off. Like if you in a positive,
we're gonna shift because this was a light W. Like I already knew.
One little quick thing though, from a business mindset, what I would say to you is just create a contract, and you just give that out to everybody before they get on your show. So that way it's all laid out.
If they were people that were going to, like, you guys are guests. Mm-hmm. So like if this podcast became a place where there are permanent people there, like for whether it be a year or months or whatever it be, then that would be the case. But because it's different every Sunday, that doesn't need the contract every Sunday.
And then you also got to think of like people like it's not something that he needs to focus on now because like even us, like we were just talking before, like he was a couple minutes late, so it would be now he would have to be on punctuation, you have to be on time, you have to this, you have to that. So he's kind of I feel like he's given enough leeway, but I feel like if I'm being honest and I'm being respectful as I can be, our community is so like small-minded that they don't even look at it as like leeway. Like it's hard for them to take something that's not theirs serious. Yeah. Period.
All I'm saying is that there are some people that can benefit from having it in writing because then it's like they get to see what the deal is right off the bat, and then there's no question. It's like, all right, this is where I stand. Mm-hmm. If you agree, amazing. If not, then like we'll have another conversation, or maybe this is not right for you.
I get what you're saying.
And that's okay. It's nothing personal.
I get what you're saying wholeheartedly.
We got comments?
We got comments. Okay. When Molly said, doing me a favor, and she reiterated when she said she was talking to her girl. You see how crazy that switch up was?
Nah,
she had a whole business
paragraph that was ready. And then that's how she's supposed to do it. That's why I was about to stop. Yeah. So that's why it was good that you questioned it. Yeah. You rephrased the question.
But it's like, that's what I'm saying, like, psychology is not only interesting, but quote unquote fun or whatever you want to, however you want to phrase it, because it's logical. Like it made sense. Mm-hmm. It made sense why her initial response was not my initial response.
It has to be
for the reason, for different reasons, but definitely one of those. But then when it was someone who she's feels to be a friend
went
or
very connected,
right to your sentiments.
Yeah.
But I
like
get it.
Business relationship versus very personal relationship.
So that's why
because my shit. If I was talking to a client,
we understood. Yes, your answer was perfectly fine. It just wasn't.
It didn't align. But that's the reason why it didn't align.
So that's why.
So comments. We're gonna get ready. We're gonna get to the comments, and we're gonna go get on for this because we've been on for too long. We got unbelievable when we're talking about we were just talking about the favorite joint. They feel superior to you is another comment. Is like feeling about the favor. If they feel like they're doing you a favor, they feel superior to you. I agree.
It's that entitlement, right?
Entitlement. I was gonna ask you before we got into the comments. Are there any other words you have with entitlement to describe as from a therapist standpoint? But it's pretty self-explanatory.
Egotistical. It could be that.
That's what I'm saying. You said I needed to have homie on here
to have this conversation. It could be that kind of ego coming out.
We had a therapist. I mean, honestly,
think about that. Think about that. What it looked like,
and that would have been nasty.
It wouldn't have been nasty.
It would have been nasty.
You were here and I'm here.
He would have got nasty.
Yeah, but you're here and I'm here.
It would have got
two
nasty.
People.
It would have got nasty.
I promise it would have worked.
I promise you would have got nasty.
I promise it would have worked.
I promise you the respect level would have been low.
Tiernan, look, I called her Sunday. How long have we known each other?
I know, a long time.
How long would you say if you had to put it? How old is Tiernan?
Tiernan's 22.
So probably 13. Probably when he was 13.
Yeah, maybe even younger. I mean, Taze.
So at least 10 years.
Taze games, like in high school.
Savannah, you never know what you're going to be in.
It wouldn't have got nasty. 10 plus years, it wouldn't. I promise you. I wouldn't have let it get nasty.
You would have interjected, but it still would have gotten nasty. But
I also know
Molly.
Molly
would have gotten nasty. You would have had to interject.
But I also know Molly, and you seen how she answered the first time.
You know who we're talking about.
Bro. You seen how, but you see. Listen to what I'm saying. You seen how you asked. You seen her first answer, right? And then you seen how when you rephrased the question, did it take her any time to switch and go to that? All right. So I'm saying I know Molly a little bit to know that I know she would. I wouldn't. I promise you.
It don't matter.
She
It
would
don't
have been
matter.
able to handle
This
that.
was
Either way,
fine.
no, this
This
was
was fine.
good
This
too.
was fine. This
But
was
I'm saying she would have been able to handle that.
Do
We're
we
gonna
need to
get-
take a deep breath?
Who? Me or
All of us.
No,
You
nobody
want to
does.
hit more of your oils and shit?
Nobody does.
Do we
No,
need to hit the oil?
We doing good.
I think
You're
if
like
if
showing
the other
up.
person was here. it might
You're
have been.
doing your thing. He's
Anybody want a
definitely-
shot of Ninja Red? We got some goji berry juice over
Go ahead,
there.
promote.
I don't trust it. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, but if
So
that's your
you
product,
drink
you
it?
know you're just
Take
doing
none of it?
you're doing your distribution. You're doing distribution for that.
I mean,
bro.
I distribute for the company, but it's,
So, I mean,
it's
that's not like-
amazing for your health.
It's-
And I
it's-
brought it here to share because, it's just something a little
It
different.
kind of gives like an appley, fruity taste.
Yeah,
It's berry.
it's a lot of
Yeah,
fruit.
it's a fruit.
Did you have
Okay.
it? Did you taste
in
it?
spirit.
You're
Oh,
so
see, that's-
funny.
Yeah, don't be funny too.
Don't let him be like that.
We're
Don't
all
let him be
funny.
like that, Molly.
We're
Don't
all
let him be
funny.
like that.
Next comment. Since we're still on this topic, maybe the person, in parentheses, if they're rising in the community as well as you, they are also intimidated. I'm just reading comments. The next comment was, that would be my exact response if I wasn't just silent, collecting my response while maintaining control of my emotions. Yeah. So, just reading comments.
No, you did. That was a good little segment. I like that.
I like that. I like
really
that
do
it was
that, honestly.
unbiased.
Yes, facts. Without no type of information.
Yeah, so it's
No,
all
you're
good.
right.
But let's move on. That was the last
I'm
one.
proud of you.
Can I
Who,
can
me?
I ask
Yeah,
my question?
yes.
Yeah, before
Why-
you
why
get
are you
to
proud
the-
of me?
It's an amazing production that you've created. I'm so proud of you.
I'm glad that you. I'm glad that you,
you
see
put
that.
a
and feel
lot
that way.
of time, energy, effort, money. The whole list goes on
Yeah, I'm glad
for
you feel
this
that way.
creation, and I
Like
think
I
it's
said-
really beautiful that you've had a passion to really create something special
Have
within
you
our
watched?
community.
Do you feel like you watched it since he started from the beginning, or do you think you kept
Not from the
sporadic?
beginning. I'll catch here and there.
So
yeah.
do you see like the growth?
The growth,
too? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah? Okay.
definitely, and that's my
Cool.
favorite thing to
Okay.
witness people's growth.
So now,
Yes.
what I said, like I said to the hoodies, and I appreciate that obviously, but I think it might be like we were talking about the quote unquote the formula before the podcast started. The one thing that I'm looking forward to growing is obviously the equipment and whatnot, because I think that is the one missing piece. Because just like you said, like what you said, I appreciate and I feel to be true. Like the quality of it, as far as the content, what we're talking about, is very high level. The only thing that doesn't match is the equipment. Like I feel like there should be like 3 cameras and different lights and all that good stuff or whatever. So it's like, I told Jesse when we were talking privately, that it's just a matter of reps at this point, because most podcasts pop off at like 100 views, hundreds of views, 200 views, like etc. So I think that it'll do that, but I also think that like had I started with the right equipment, it might have already popped off by now. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I do
So
think that
what's up?
I do think that because
well, we gonna talk after this. Then.
I know, right?
I do think that, but
for real.
But they do say that you should do what
You getting the
do-
reps too, though. So
Right,
don't
you're
ever
doing the reps.
sell-
Yeah, I'm
sell
not.
the
But
reps short.
I'm not regretting it. But
Yeah.
but I do think they do say that you start with what you have. Similar to Tay, like Tay.
That's what I was
Tay
about to
has.
say. That first
First
camera
year,
was
yeah,
a weird
it's not-
shirt. It
yeah.
was stretched out.
I don't
neck.
think it was
We didn't have
it
nothing.
weird?
There was nothing on the back.
plus
The
S equals
next-
S?
The next, no, there was nothing on the back. That's what I mean. I don't think you
Oh.
caught the beginning. The beginning was
Okay.
the long neck shirts that was out here. That looked like
But that's
we
what I'm
was
saying. That's everything.
little kids. There was nothing
I
on
saw-
the back of the shirt.
You're
It was just the
good
front.
on my Instagram stories. I can't even remember because I just post what I feel to be inspiring, and that inspires
In the
me.
moment,
And then
yeah.
but like it resonates at the time, but it's hard to like remember everything. But there was one thing that I saw. I think Nike started
I saw
as a college
that.
project.
Yeah.
Like as well as like obviously Amazon was like in someone's garage or whatever. Like so it's like
You got
it
to
all
think
starts from somewhere.
even the Michael Jordan story. Jordan, they wanted to give Jordan a
Or the
certain
LeBron
amount.
story.
Yep.
Jordan wanted more. Nike, Phil Knight took that was money out of his pocket to give Jordan the rest of that money. He said take it, but Nike didn't have it. They had this. It had to come from him directly at that point. So. I
There's
think-
so many amazing stories like
Yeah,
that, right? That are
right.
inspiring.
And
Yeah.
it's gonna be one of them because like Jesse said, this is only, and I don't want to take up too much time, but this is only one of the things that I do. So when one thing I've said it for a while now. It's an annoying thing because I'm not the most patient person. Well, the one thing I used to say often was when one thing takes off, everything else will take off and whatnot. So like right now, murals are doing really well.
Yeah, you're in a full circle. It just got
Right.
all
And
come
honestly,
together.
Kevin Hart was on an interview and he was on the Breakfast Club and he was saying that he does. He could not just do stand-up comedy.
Right.
Like he does stand-up comedy, he does movies.
No, he couldn't just do acting.
Right.
So people think he might not do stand-up comedy still, but he still does stand-up comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
He still does all of those things because it's
Right.
not just about one thing. If something's down,
If something falls,
he
yeah.
got 3 or 4 other things.
Exactly.
Something might
Right.
be
It's
up,
about
like-
but
diversifying.
it all comes
Yeah.
together.
And it's funny, like, and I'm like, at this point, low-key feel like I'm dragging it, but it's funny because there was someone that would tell me that I'm doing too much, like, years ago, and they probably still feel this way, but they would tell me that I'm doing too much, I should focus on one thing, and blah, blah. But if that were the case, as a creative, as an artist, I don't feel like I could do that, or would feel pleasure in just doing one thing at a time, but also, like, if something goes, say a mural goes viral, or a podcast goes viral, then, like, oh, this guy does murals, this guy does music, this guy does art, this guy does whatever. So it's like everything then goes viral or goes up. Like so it's like it doesn't make sense to just do one thing unless you only have one thing. But if you can do multiple things, then why not?
Yeah. And so often, everything that you're doing is connected in so many different ways.
Exactly.
So they're all complementing each other. And obviously you're at the heart of it, right? Like every human is at the heart of all the different tools that they're accessing. But usually there's such a connection in everything. So it kind of lifts everything up.
Exactly,
together, right?
exactly.
Like
And in
simultaneously.
And in my experience, and that was what I was saying to him before, like once you start listening and you start hearing the people that are so quick to tell you what you need to do first before like giving you credit for where you're at, kind of people that you realize, you don't really want to listen to them anyway, because it's like, you could help me, I'm willing to take help, but if you're somebody that's always going to start where what I messed up with and you don't do nothing yourself, or you don't like, it'd be different if like I'm a trainer, me and Tay been friends since we were 4. So like, if he says it to me, I'm gonna listen because we have that connection. But if somebody that just you train or somewhere else, and you're gonna start every one of our conversations where I could have been better. After eventually, I'm gonna be like, man, what are you here for? Like, what are you?
Right.
Like
Totally.
not like a good job, you're doing good, but maybe if you would have did this next time, but you still got, like something that lets me know that like you're here for the right reasons, like, because you could even say all of those things after, but if it always starts with something I need to do better, it's like, come on, man.
Right.
Like only people my grandfather was the only person that I feel like I wanted to make proud of me all the time. Even when he said those things, like you could have did this though. Yeah, you swept the floor, but did you do the dishes? Like I wanted to, but like in the real world, it's kind of like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Give me my props too, at least,
Yeah.
or something, or first, or
Honestly,
Yeah.
so Molly, we definitely gonna have to have you back at some point because that was a great therapy adjacent session for sure. Like I think I definitely got jewels out of that, gems out of that, and I know Jesse definitely got gems out of it and whatnot. And
Happy to share. Happy to be here. Yeah.
the next time,
Anytime.
the next time you're on here could be
we need
could
them
be
both
more- could be
because it
more.
might be dope. It might be a little bit deeper if we get her
Yeah,
in
it's
the
gonna
other,
be-
then we in the middle, and it's just them two.
Right.
We might be in some trouble. 2 therapists.
Maybe.
Her ears are ringing right now.
There's a Japanese
Shout out
I want to say it's a
Tiffany.
Japanese superstition or whatever that when someone's talking about you, they sneeze.
Oh yeah.
Like if say I'm talking about Molly, Molly will sneeze or whatever.
And isn't there something where they say like when you say the person's name? My mom used to do that.
We figured
Like
out
when you say the wrong person, like if I say
I don't know.
Jelani and you're not even there, I'm like, Jelani's talking about me somewhere.
You know what
Oh,
happens?
Have you ever heard that?
Legit. This
Who said
happens
that?
all the time when I'm in session with a client and they're sharing about someone in their life. All of a sudden they go, "Look who just texted me."
It'll be
And
the
it
person.
happens.
Wow,
Yes,
that's
it
crazy.
happens.
I mean that makes
or
sense.
a call.
Yeah.
That makes
you know?
sense.
But it's just wild sometimes because
we-
it's like, wow, what
we
are
did
the odds?
we did
you know?
figure out that if you toast water, it's bad luck. Molly,
Toasting water.
if you toast water, it's bad luck. Molly, do you remember?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
toasting.
yeah.
You know what I was thinking when you
Toast-
said
she said
toasted?
toast water.
I was
She's
thinking like the
sick.
toaster oven.
Yeah,
for
that's
a second,
crazy.
You know, like toasting bread.
Nope.
I know. Well, you read that,
On
but
Google.
But everybody who knows me personally knows that when we break
It's an
bread,
omen.
when we have some sort of a meal, we always toast.
Water.
Always.
Don't do water anymore. It's an omen. It's a bad.
So you're saying
literally.
any drink besides water?
Google.
But don't
Google
you
said
think
water.
every-
Wait, who
doesn't
told
every
y'all toasted
drink-
water before?
Google, yes, and Google
Yeah,
said
I
this.
don't know about toasting water.
Do you
You
believe
should-
Google?
Jacob
oh,
honestly
you
said.
should, if you toast water, you should just be like, go and see who can finish the water first. So don't toast water. What the hell?
Alright.
I
That's
love
what I said.
cheersing. I think I cheersed
Yeah, but
to you
you
guys
can
when we
cheers.
first got here.
Bro, that wasn't water.
It has a little
You
bit of
gotta
water in
cheer
it.
like
Has a
wine.
Is there
water.
any drink that doesn't have water? Every drink has water.
Right. Well, they're not.
Yeah, but it's
all
not
water.
all-
So it's
Only
like
water.
clear water.
So maybe that's why you
Just
can't
It's a
toast
bad omen.
H2O. Yeah.
Just straight up H2O.
Just
All
water.
right, so
We're
can
just
we
talking
cheers?
water. Huh?
I don't
Let's
got
cheers.
water.
I
in there. Let's
guess.
go.
I mean, the only thing I got left is water.
I
Get
thought
your
you
Red
weren't
Bull.
allowed to do
Get
it.
your Red Bull.
It's empty.
Damn.
Well, have some
Alright,
of
there
this,
we go. Put a
have
little
some
bit
of
in
this
here.
Ninja Red
Tiny
goji
bit.
berry juice.
That's good. You gotta put a tiny bit in there.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't drink.
Oh, I didn't know. I
Come
swear.
on,
I only
If
drink-
I would have knew that,
Jesse's
I would
an
have said
asshole.
that.
Water.
If I didn't know.
Cheers. Good omens. Good omens. Blessings, everybody. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
All right, let's keep it going.
All right, what's next?
That was dope.
This
Whatever.
is fun. We're having a good time.
Can I just ask I just want the
Oh,
one
shit.
that. All right. Because the only reason I want to ask this is because
Like
I
what?
feel like.
You're always getting tested.
He's
I
getting a
feel
free
like
therapy
this-
session. That's
it's
what it
either,
is.
It's either too broad for us to talk about it, or there's no answer.
Okay, what is
Oh
it?
shit.
All right. So, as a therapist, what would you say to the 38-year-old man
Is that you?
that doesn't know if
How old are you? 30?
not having a father in his life is
Mm.
necessarily affecting him or not
Mm.
because he's doing good as a parent?
Mm-hmm.
Go crazy, Jesse.
Does that make sense? Like, what is there another form? Is there another way that could hurt someone besides just like?
I'll tell you that so often the work that I do with people is to help them to recognize how some of the habits, behavioral patterns, cognitive, that's like our thought patterns or emotional patterns, how those are either serving us or not serving us now as adults.
Okay.
Some of the patterns that we all have served us very well when we were children because we use them as a means to protect ourselves. Some of those patterns stay with us, right, throughout adulthood, and we come to find as adults that some of those patterns are not really serving us anymore as they once did when we were kids. So what I would say to you, or whoever you're referring to, is that, you know, are there certain kind of unresolved issues within yourself that you think maybe are manifesting themselves in some sort of a way in your life, affecting certain parts of your life in a way that are not serving you to your highest good? Are there moments as a father where maybe you might question, like, am I doing this right because I didn't have that father figure guide in my life growing up? Like you just mentioned your grandfather, for example, right? Like it sounds like he was someone who was like a father figure, right? Someone you really respected. In those moments of fatherhood, are there these insecurities that are coming up? Are there certain issues that arise where you're like, ooh, is this because dad wasn't present? Or is this because it's just kind of a normalized thing that like all fathers go through, all parents go through, where we have these certain insecurities or question around how to deal with these different issues that are coming into play as parents or within our children?
And I'm comfortable staying like this is me. I'm telling. I said 38, but this is me. I think that earlier on in my fatherhood, I gave myself the like, what you said, like, hey, am I doing this right? Because I don't know that. But at this, like, as I grew older, the man to this present day, he passed away. So as I grew through before that, it was kind of like a battle of like that, like, I'm good, or is this the reason? And how do I just be mature enough to just try to bury a hatchet or just come to a medium, you know what I mean? But I think now as I'm getting older, I feel like personally I'm good. Like my kids, it doesn't take effect there. But then every so often I always get to a point where I'm like, wait, well, could this be affecting me somewhere else? And just because I'm not bringing it with, like, keeping it along with parenting, I'm just missing it. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have those moments, though, right? Where, like, all of a sudden something just kind of hits us emotionally. We're like, damn, where did that come from? I haven't really been upset about that in a long time, or I thought I was over that, or, like, why is this getting triggered in this moment? So I think in those moments when that kind of scenario takes place, like, that is a sign
You gotta deal with
that there's something that might be suppressed there, right?
Okay.
But there's also, you know, an acceptance that comes with this life too, because life is always changing, ever growing. Life is transient. It's never the same. And so we're always grieving something to some extent. But obviously some people wear really big shoes who we grieve too, right? And a parent, I think, wears really big shoes because we've all only got two of them in the world. We can have other people who show up in different ways that might be representatives of, you know, those types of people, but yeah, it makes sense that there would be a lot there that, you know, you can recognize in moments where you're like, damn, like there's some unresolved here that I got to work through, you know?
I feel
and no one's exempt from that, so.
As like a teen early on, it was the cool stage of like I'm good at basketball, I'm in the paper, like what is he? I don't even want to be around.
Right,
and then as you get, it changes.
Yeah.
So now I feel like personally I'm at the point where it's like, is it still affecting me? You know what I mean? Like, did I get over it, or is it affecting me because I'm good with the parenting thing, and I can't find a way to correlate it there?
Well,
or am I not seeing?
If your dad, and this might be a little deep, but I think you can take it. I know you can. If your dad didn't show up in your life, you might not have shown up to the extent that you did with your kids, or as a leader to all the students, all the people that you train in basketball, or all the other people in your life that you show up as a leader to, you know? It's that blessing in disguise. Like, I believe that. Like, I believe that. I'm not saying that, you know, you wouldn't have had a great life had Dad been in or out of your life, but it's like, that is definitely, so I believe that's definitely something that you took from that experience, was you were like, I'm going to show up better than ever because of what you went through. And being like, hell yeah, like my kids are going to know that I'm a amazing father, you know, and you are. And I've always seen that in you, not just as a father, but also, you know, with basketball, because that's where I would see you so often.
I need to interrupt the therapy session.
I know, we're having a little.
Another commenter, Leela, said, "Who is this woman? I like her."
Oh, thank you, Leela. I like you too.
Melissa said, "Shadow work." She said,
"That's a good one."
Ask Molly, what's the best advice to give to anyone on the rise of becoming a therapist? Molly getting a following off.
Ooh, that's tough. That is a good question.
I mean, if anybody wants to reach out, you know, to ask any questions, by all means, you can find me or get my number.
I wasn't mad at it, Molly.
Get my number from Jalen.
No, I feel like an answer, and then that at the end of it would have been perfect.
And I get what you said. I'm not mad at it. He said it, I didn't say it.
But in terms of, you know, I mean, in terms
That's
of
business
becoming a
advice
therapist,
at that point,
you know, it's graduate school, so, you know, I don't know what this person's
right,
situation is,
okay, all right. So
but that's the best way to
person.
work it, is to ultimately go to graduate school. And most people are either going for their master's in social work, which is what I have, or a master's in mental health counseling. And that's what a majority of our therapists here have. So there's two different types of programs that people usually go to. You can also become a psychologist. You can get your PhD. But I think most people are,
The commenter said I will do. And shout out your tags. Like, where could she reach you? Like, your Instagram, your email, something.
Yeah. Well, the business is evolutionary.holistic.healing. Evolutionary holistic healing. And then, or, you know, my social is Molly McCarthy Tweedy.
Boom, on everything.
But she can
on
get
everything?
my number through
Wait,
you too.
on everything?
Yeah, you can give out my number.
Look at the camera.
Oh.
On everything?
What do you mean on
Molly,
everything?
She smiled and everything.
Jesse the manager.
Wait, on everything? Molly McCarthy. That's your thing on everything?
Molly McCarthy Tweety.
On every
yeah,
social
and it's
site.
Tweety with a D.
And that's your name, too.
That's my name.
That's tough.
But the business is
That's tough.
evolutionary holistic healing.
McCarthy's
With
that's a
little
hard name to
dots.
spell.
No, I'm just saying that
McCarthy
that's...
Tweety,
Yeah, you might have to spell it a little bit, but I just feel like it's tough that she's standing on her name. You was
might have
going
to
further.
spell it.
You might got to spell it for them.
You can go to Jelani's followers.
No, we
And
want
then find my name.
we
That
want
way,
And I've
Molly.
also-
Just
you
type
said-
in
you
Molly,
said-
it'll pop up. Molly
Type in
McCarthy
Molly, it'll
Tweety.
pop up. Tweety. Tweety with a D,
But
not
just,
the bird.
just hit this one up over
Tweety
here
with a
and he
D.
can give you my information. Yeah.
We'll
No, I'm
figure it
happy
out.
to help people in guiding through that process
At
because I
what-
know there could be a lot of questions along the way.
At what age did you realize?
No,
you wanted to be
hell
a
no,
therapist?
no. We
No.
go to the next topic.
Wait, I just
No,
want
no,
that.
hell no,
Okay.
you're
Go
on that.
ahead. Next topic.
Next
My
topic.
fault. My bad.
You good. What's it called? The next topic is.
I thought we got. Oh no, that was my fault. Yeah, we kind of. I think we just.
Do you want to go to Donald Trump's new economic plan? The joint you sent me.
Can somebody tell me, please? 'Cause I
Well,
don't know
just
it
in
fully.
terms
I
of
looked
time, what do you
quick.
think is best? Because you've got a lot on. I don't know.
Not nothing crazy. We could do it real
Entrees,
fast.
desserts,
'Cause I think
appetizers.
the
We got all
the
sorts
thing
of
is-
meals.
The thing is that with the first topic, it won't like all the other topics won't take as long as the first topic because I had questions and there were sub questions and like you know what I mean we were having fun and like it's not even a big deal for real. If
I
they
think-
do take long, so it's
yeah.
like, so I was just asking if you wanted to.
I mean, I think the point that I would like to address is just the fact that if there's going to be such,
With Donald Trump.
such a tremendous
You gotta
cut.
can I play the clip first? Goddamn.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm
Jesus.
getting
You about to-
ahead.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. I like it though. I like the energy.
That laugh is a classic at this point.
At this point?
So many times I don't know if it's like a.
Today, Donald Trump unveiled the
You seen this before?
basics of his billionaire and corporate tax cut. And it's really important for you to understand the truth because you're going to hear a lot of spin from Republicans. The truth is that this version of the billionaire tax cut is so much worse than the version that Republicans passed during Donald Trump's first term. First of all,
Dang.
it's table scraps for poor people and middle class folks. Like the first tax cut, this one is going to be skewed towards the very wealthy. The 2017 tax cut had a tax cut 852 times bigger for the top 1% as for lower income earners. The first tax cut was promised to deliver $4,000 in increased income for every American. A study showed that that number was not 4,000, it was zero. The first tax cut blew a giant hole in the deficit because all of the money that went to finance the tax cut for the wealthy was borrowed. And therein lies why this version of the tax
It's
cut
gonna
is
pay back
worse.
time, yeah.
It's still table scraps for the middle class and for poor
It's
people.
gonna be negative.
The bulk of the tax cut still goes to the very, very wealthy. But this time, they're not borrowing the money to pay for the tax cut for the wealthy. This time, they're gutting your services. This time, they have laid out a plan, and they literally wrote it down, to cut Medicare by $479 billion. That's a big number, but this one's bigger. They're going to cut Medicaid by $2.3 trillion. They're going to cut the Affordable Care Act by $151 billion.
It would have been a three. It would have been a 3v1,
It's gonna
bro.
be shaky in
It
the
would have been
beginning.
a
That's why we-
3v1, bro. 'Cause this is crazy.
The Affordable Care Act insures 20 million working Americans. They're going to cut those programs so that they can give another tax cut that is 800 times more
does that
generous
even make
to the very wealthy than to the lowest income earners in this country. They're going to spin this as a tax cut for the middle class. That's not true. This is a tax cut for the wealthy paid for by cuts to the middle class.
So a point that he said, which I don't know
How
if
is
you
that
two
even
heard,
possible?
was he said 40%.
So today, Donald-
He said 40% of births in this country are paid for by Medicaid.
And they're cutting by the
A
billions.
large,
By the billions.
trillions.
Oh yeah, by the trillions. Yeah, Medicaid by the trillions.
Medicaid
yeah.
is trillions.
I don't.
yeah.
How is that like? How is there people behind? How is there? Because
Such an
those
injustice.
decisions aren't just a president's decision, right? Like he has to have like backing, right? How is there that many people that's willing?
This is a conversation between you and Molly. I'm here for it.
How is there not? So how is there
All right,
that
ask
many
the
people
question.
that's willing to back that? That's ridiculous.
Jelani, give it up.
Molly, he's asking you a question. What do you mean give up? Like, he's asking you the question.
Well,
How?
no, we want you to be included in this
Oh no, I'm
conversation.
listening. But he's asking you the question, like how are people supporting that?
Yeah, like how is there that many? Well, first of all, I mean, we might not know this answer, but how many people have to be in support of something like that for it to get passed through? Is that like 4 people? Like if he just talks to executive XYZ, it's passed. Is it one of those kind of things?
I can't answer that question exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know the answer to that.
Because that's
I guess,
crazy
yeah.
numbers.
I just have concerns about, how this is going to impact people.
That's crazy numbers.
That's the big concern.
And how does that work with life unless like
Majority of the people I've worked with,
that has
in
to
my
make me-
work has relied upon those services, and they're in it. I'm not saying by any means that they're the best systems, just like, we can't find perfection in life, but there's room for improvement, but to cut it so drastically is very concerning because there are so many people who are reliant, and I don't know what that's going to ultimately look like with cuts that grand.
I know I'm speaking like broad, but like that has to mean the president is cool with some people like phasing out of like life. And I know that's like deep, but like that's a lot of money, bro. That's deep. Like
that's
it's
an
cool.
appropriate
So it's
comment.
kind of like
That's
that
accurate.
has to be somewhere in this round table meeting.
At this moment is where I would want you
Yes,
to be a part of. But, but the thing is though, bro, like unfortunately,
you got it, bro.
Unfortunately, this is not super new news. Like, yes, that may be new.
No, but it's the
But
grand
it's like
scheme of things,
it's
been down this path the whole time.
Exactly. So it's like
I got you.
Because not that you were misinformed or whatever, but you weren't privy to it. He was saying he was in favor of things like you were there, and I was like, not that I was waiting for you to jump in.
I don't know.
You didn't
I'm
know
gonna be
that- you didn't know
honest
the
with
grand
you,
scope
bro.
of
Like
things,
I
yeah.
know surface
I get it,
level
yeah.
things. Yeah, like even those numbers. Like I'm not.
Yeah, it's wild.
I don't know. That's why I said like I don't. I know I'm probably not right, and I should have voted. But I'm more of a person that's like, bro, like I'm gonna figure out how to make it.
Right. No, I
Like
get
you're
it.
not gonna knock me off my rocker, and if it gets too many people that's saying things that I can't like give you what I'm gonna do back towards that or how I'm gonna handle that, I kind of don't even want to hear
Which
it.
is
I'm
one
gonna go like-
thing.
and I'm not
Which
saying
is
that
one
it's
thing. No.
valid.
I'm not saying it's valid either, but that is one thing.
Yeah.
So like that is, but that's what my beef is with Jermaine is that he'll hear all that and be like,
it's cool.
he said it was gonna be shaky. And
Bro.
he's only been there's another person I know that it's only been 3 months or 2 months or whatever the case should be. Is like, let's see what he does next year, or let's see like what the end of like in the 4 years, blah blah. Like at a certain point, if you logically or like just using
Listen,
some
for real,
common
yeah.
sense, be like, oh, this is too much for 3 months.
Yes,
It's literally
and he has
generational,
3
like-
more, and he has 3 more years if he goes all the way through, right?
Yeah,
Potentially.
yeah.
Or more if
No.
he gets through. So I get what you're saying.
Right,
Like,
so it's-
this is not even good for the 3 months,
Right.
let alone letting them last
Molly gotta love you, Molly.
for the rest of the year.
Right.
Molly got fans, okay.
Aw.
Shit, I
That's
saw
sweet. Thank
Christy
you.
Lynn was in the comments a minute ago, but the comments is going fast. Christy Lynn said they get people who believe in their agenda or pay off people who have no morals to get people in places for government to pass the laws and bills that he wants. An oligarchy. That was a good way to sum up what
No,
she...
that is what. Yeah.
That was a good way to sum up because like we didn't have quote unquote didn't have the answer, but the real like part of the answer is that Trump has, when he was the first in presidency, put people in place in the Congress that aligned with his views.
Yes, that's what he
But
just did
honestly-
with the judges too.
But and when
that's why they're saying he might end up getting rid of the how long you could be a president because the judges
Right.
and he's been.
and then
doing
what's it
that.
called? I was wasn't gonna say like about because I was waiting to hear what you guys were saying, but even when it comes to I believe it's the no, he's not even the man that is in El Salvador that was wrongfully deported to El Salvador. Like the Congress was against him being deported, but Donald Trump deported him anyway. Like that's what I'm saying. That's not the normal
Yeah.
That's not the normal rule. You have to go through the Congress.
Yeah.
But that's all I got for that topic. What do you think? Do you have anything else on this, Molly?
I'm just concerned. Yeah, I mean, I
Molly,
just
that
wanna
is
see-
the word of the day when
we'll
it comes
have
to Trump. You are
see what
concerned.
happens. I mean, that's a lot of money to cut,
of course.
and I just, there's a lot. There are people who carry this belief
Molly,
that
I gotta interrupt you.
Yeah.
Because breaking news. One of your
Break it.
Give it up.
One of
I'm
your
scared.
one of your fans said they like your laugh too.
Oh.
That's how you know they're a diehard. They're a diehard.
I do laugh a lot because laughter is medicine.
There it
Let's
is.
give it up.
That's another quote.
There we go.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Add
but
it-
that
add
laugh,
it to the list.
that laugh that you keep doing lets me know you have more than one laugh, because
I've
that's
got a
like
few different ones.
Yeah, because that one's in the middle of
Doesn't
like
everybody have a few
mischievous-
different
No, we
laughs?
do.
Yeah, of course,
we
of
do.
course.
Oh, one of them feels a little
Some
mischievous.
Okay.
some aren't diabolical.
Yes.
Or some are more than others. But
You
it's
got
fine.
a diabolical.
And it's fine.
He's right.
And it's
He's right.
fine.
You definitely got it.
So your last comment on Donald Trump is that you're concerned.
I'm concerned. Yeah,
Do you have anything more than the concerned? Molly?
I mean, I have so much I could share about this topic just
Okay.
because of having worked in community mental health and substance abuse recovery treatment for many years, and just the amount of people that are really in need of these types of services. So to hear numbers that large is it's very
Yeah.
concerning. Maybe I should change the word.
No,
But-
concerning is
But
great.
really, it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? It's kind of shocking.
And
Like
concerning.
what do you do?
Right.
And concerning. I know you've got a few more topics though. We could stay on this one, or we could
No, we're gonna keep
pop
it
over
going.
to some new ones.
She's
'Cause
done
we
with
talked
Trump,
to-
bro.
yeah.
She don't want to talk about Trump. She
Whoa,
put him
don't
in
put
the
words
headlock.
in. Don't put words in.
I'm just giving it from the responses. She's like,
Katy
get him.
Perry.
Listen, Hollywood is a little bit more interesting.
Oh, see? Oh, so she wanted to talk about Katy.
Katy Perry.
Listen, you want me to
Go
go
to
first
space
with that
for
answer?
11 minutes?
'Cause I might get my
Listen,
answer.
before we even get to the clips, because we got clips. How do y'all feel about Katy
I don't
Perry
think they went
and
no
Gayle
damn
King?
way.
Oh,
They went over to Arizona somewhere in a little.
All right. All right.
Just stood around.
So you think
somewhere
it was
where they
fake? You
couldn't
think it
get-
was
Yeah, I don't.
fake as hell?
I
Okay.
don't jack it.
Okay.
And I could be wrong.
They couldn't.
but
They couldn't.
I just don't jack it.
Because they say they only went for like 11 minutes.
Yeah,
so
they
it's
went to like Puerto Rico or something and stayed in the air. Like when I took a
They're
cruise
rich.
one
They
time,
really didn't have to
my
go to Puerto
first
Rico.
cruise,
They're rich, though.
there was something happened. It was one of them hurricanes
went
with
to
the
Puerto
names. It was
Rico.
like Sandy or one of them. So we had to stay in the water the whole time. We couldn't dock.
What's that got to do with
Because
space?
that's what they did. They just stood in the air. They didn't go to space. They were just in the air for 11 minutes.
Okay.
And then they came back down and they did some weird signs and they was like this. Go ahead, take that picture. They was doing that in the air. A little bit over Arizona, like that, in the clouds. I don't think they went anywhere.
Is it
I'll be
Arizona
honest.
or Puerto Rico? 'Cause they're not
Wherever, Arizona, Puerto Rico, I don't know. I heard they didn't even get
clouds.
seen coming back into the
It's all about the
atmosphere.
clouds.
You know why they didn't get seen coming back into the
Because
atmosphere?
they don't-
Because they never left the atmosphere.
Let's-
They went and chilled.
Let's hear what Molly thinks.
Molly.
Well, I was curious. So, which part of the story do you want us to reference?
No, I
here?
want you to answer what
Was
I just
it
said
just
first.
going to
think
space
they
kind of a
went?
deal, or was there something like
He
the,
wants
what's
you to
the
reference.
controversy, right?
Do you
I
think
mean,
they
it
went?
sounds-
That's what I want to know.
That's
I
what-
mean,
that's what
I
Justin
thought they
said.
were going to the moon.
They
That's-
definitely.
You
go
with me?
somewhere.
You with me?
Yeah.
You're I see. I think her answer is
How is she with you?
because I feel like she don't think
How
that
based
they
off of
listen.
that?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna break it down.
Okay.
I feel like
Well, that's what I thought
on
was
some
happening.
women empowerment
no,
thing,
this wasn't it.
on
I
some
know.
women
They
empowerment
went
thing,
to the moon.
she'd
They went to
hope
space.
they went somewhere.
Okay.
But she thought they was going to the moon. That means she don't think they went anywhere
I mean,
either.
there's a difference between going in a spaceship
Yeah.
versus a plane, right? So I'll
Oh,
give
yeah.
them that.
Yeah.
They did something,
Oh yeah, she.
but it could have, it could have been more exciting.
Of course. Of course.
Molly's not answering nothing.
Oh, really?
What you say, Jesse? What you say,
If it were
Jesse?
me,
Molly's not answering the question.
Yo, if you pay
If it
attention,
were
if you
me-
pay
She's been dancing the whole time.
If
you
it-
can
You
if
can
it
dance.
was-
You
listen,
can dance, Molly.
Listen.
I swear.
Listen.
You got Rihanna.
Yo.
You
If
got
it,
Rihanna.
if it
in
were
you.
me, I would say that was the appetizer. When are we gonna eat the entree?
Okay.
Okay. Like next round,
see the
we gotta
code
get
switch?
up.
No.
to
You see
the code
stage.
I could give you the jet.
have to
Molly's
pay
saying
attention.
they didn't
You have
go
to pay attention to the
anywhere.
code switch.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
But I like it though. I like the code switch. I like the where you like switch the dial and now we get from Molly the therapist to Molly Molly.
Yeah, facts.
I like it.
It's all Molly.
It's different versions of Molly,
Okay.
though. That's a fact.
So you're either Tweety or you're Tweety with a T. You're the bird, you're the Tweety bird, or you're Tweety your name. It's two different people.
I'm not mad at that. It's a good analogy. Let's get to the clips, shall we? All right. Going to... Y'all gonna have fun with these.
Yeah, me. I know. I seen a couple myself. The one dude, you're probably gonna play him. I guarantee you're gonna play him.
Katy Perry, what the hell? You're telling me you've waited your whole life to go to space for a damn 4 minutes, 11 minutes. The whole damn trip took 11 minutes. And you're telling me you kissed the ground when you got back. Girl, you still had dirt on
Wait, how did that happen?
your damn shoes. I'm taking a shit that took longer than that. I mean, shit, I've sat in the McDonald's drive-thru for longer than 11
Facts.
minutes. You done business
This is my
to
favorite
space and
one.
back. I don't ever want to hear a damn thing about a carbon emission ever again.
Facts.
Do you know how much carbon emissions you probably just put in the air? So, did you even get a damn picture?
Yes.
Did you even take a damn selfie? Is there even a window in that damn septic tank? Hellfire! Some of y'all got more money than you got sense. I will never understand it. Go to a damn kids museum. I'm sure they got some kind of no gravity exhibit. You just wasted so much damn money and time. You're telling me the news broadcasted that shit? Are you kidding me? What the hell? Katy Perry, what the hell?
This was the first one I seen, and I said it takes 2 hours to get from New York to Charlotte on a plane.
It just always amazes me though
quicker to get to
how
space than Charlotte.
Let me hear
it
Molly.
always amazes me how heated people get though
Ooh,
about
okay.
people's decisions in life, right? Like that person was heated,
Yeah.
right?
But you wouldn't,
like,
you wouldn't be
like
heated over
so
somebody.
affected. Like
but-
it seems as though it like stressed
I
their
like
being.
that,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
But it's because it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
That's the main point.
But what if it's like a wool over your eyes? Like you wouldn't get heated if somebody throwing like a wool, like telling you something that's not the truth. Like you
Well,
wouldn't.
and
that
that's
wouldn't
why I
make
was
you mad.
asking.
Not that
kinda-
mad.
That's
but-
why I was asking what the context of the question really was about that you were raising here. Because
Well, it's a topic. It's not really a question. I haven't asked it
does it
directly.
have to do with the fact that maybe there was a particular projected plan that everybody was under the impression was going to happen,
just
and then
didn't
all of a
meet
sudden
their-
it didn't happen, and so
okay.
everybody's disappointed. You know, back to the having expectations for other people's decisions in life.
Okay.
Right? But
That's why the clips are great because I said the topic, he automatically said it was fake or whatever.
Yeah,
so it's like
yeah.
I didn't get to ask the question because I didn't have a question. It was more so like what do you feel about
your take?
Like what's your opinion
Yeah.
on them going to space, whether they went to space,
Whether they did it or
whether a
not.
waste of time, whether like
I
there's
think
mad
they did
different
a little
layers to it.
something, but it was like a sprinkle. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I thought
Appetizer, yeah.
it was a little. It was
Yeah.
like some salt on top of like maybe half an appetizer.
Okay.
Because ultimately, you know, I remember months ago. I don't even know when exactly it was, but I remember hearing like Katy Perry's gonna go to space. She's gonna go to the moon. So I was under the impression that they were all going to the moon.
That's what I thought too.
And then it was
Didn't Michael
11
I didn't hear
minutes.
none of this. I didn't
So
hear
Michael
I think it
Strahan
is
and them did this
something,
before.
right?
This
It's
is like the
something.
second
I
one.
mean, we all
Okay.
go to space when we're on a plane, I guess to some extent, if you want to call it that. But it's different being in a spaceship.
This is like the
Wait,
second one. I
wait,
guess
wait.
Michael Strahan did
Come
it
on,
before.
Molly. When you say shit like that, it's just like wait. When we go on a plane, we
I mean,
don't
we're
go
in
into
some
space.
kind of space.
No,
My thing
no,
is
we're
though,
in the air.
what's
Wait,
the point?
you're missing what she's saying.
No, I don't know. Space is space.
Well, I don't know
there's
where-
different
there's
spheres.
I don't know
yes,
where,
yes,
I know, but I
yes.
don't know exactly where
Like
11
if you
minutes
thought they was
takes
gonna
you.
go to the moon,
No, they're 11
that
minutes
was
in
nowhere.
space.
Yeah,
They're not. They
Oh,
were
in
11 minutes in the
space.
air.
Yes.
Okay, got you. Oh,
But
okay.
what I'm
See,
saying is
you had to
context.
make that distinction.
What I'm saying is,
context.
and that's the
It's-
reason why
it was,
I got
it was low key so
more questions for this is because I didn't watch it enough. But it's like, what is the sentiments of that? Like, what's like this one was all women. So like, should you feel like that's women empowerment because 4 or 5 women got in a shuttle and got to go like off for 11
I'm
minutes?
glad you.
That's
asked
what I
that.
mean. Like,
I'm
what
glad
is
you
the
asked that because I'm about
reasoning
to play
of
for that.
But let me ask
what
you
they did
guys.
that?
Oh, okay, let's hear this.
If you had the offer to go to space, would
Oh,
you?
If I could go on the moon, it would depend on who's running the project.
See, there's back
Like
to
if
my
it's
quote that
Elon
you
Musk,
love so
Jeff
much.
Bezos, or one of them dudes,
No,
I'm
it
not
has
going
nothing to do-
nowhere.
You're missing what she's saying.
Well, I'm
Have
sorry.
you drank
I was
too much?
really
What's
asking.
going on?
Maybe I did. It's almost gone. What did she say
No,
though?
no,
Sorry.
no,
Ask
you're
that.
right.
I just
Ask
don't
the
want you
question
to
again.
miss.
though.
You
Ask
have
the
to
question.
pay. You have to pay attention
Ask
to
the
Molly.
question. Ask the question again.
No, she didn't ask the question. It's her statement.
No, you were
Yeah, you-
spot on. You were spot on. He
Yeah,
just
but I
doesn't
don't
wanna
know
hear
where
my
you
point
were
of
I
view.
just don't know. I just don't hope
yeah, I
therapy
missed it.
sessions
No, I
ain't
missed
like
that one.
this.
I missed
It's
that
fine.
one.
It's
No,
fine.
you got it. Trust me.
She's,
No, I
it
got it
doesn't
for
matter.
you,
No, it
but
doesn't-
I
it
missed
really
one.
doesn't even matter like
You
that.
basically were saying, I'll go to the moon if it's somebody who is supporting that project who I
Watch.
respect
Okay.
and I want to go to the moon
That's
with,
what you
or I
said.
would want
Yes.
to pay
And what
for
did
my
Molly
trip
say?
to the moon.
Yes. Now what?
And
did
then I
you
was
say?
saying that's very similar to Audre Lorde's quote, because you're choosing whose tools to use in going to space.
No,
but anyway,
no.
that's not a conversation.
Come on,
And then she
Molly.
said it. You
Molly.
didn't beep it. You gotta peep. You gotta pay
Molly,
attention.
come on, I was
You gotta
trying
be on
to
your
stay
toes.
with- I like
Be
that
on your
quote for a
toes.
little bit in that
yep.
segment.
And now she used
Now I
it
gotta
against
go
you.
all the way
No,
against
you
that
liked
quote.
my quote.
And that, yeah, but when you
Now
say
she's
it
using
like
that
that,
shit against you.
when you
I
say
was
it like
just- I was
that,
Honestly,
trying
but
to-
it's not that bad. It's
No,
worse.
I get it, but
Before with the Donald
Tying
Trump
it
shit was,
back.
yeah.
I'm tying it back.
yeah, but it makes
She's
me
a full circle
understand-
person.
No,
I am,
she
I
is,
am,
but
I
it,
am.
it makes me go
But
against
to
that
your
quote
point-
in this
to
quote.
your point about women's
you would-
empowerment.
You would go though. Like if all right, so
No, he said he wouldn't go. Or it depends on
no,
who
he's- on
was-
who it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who would it be? Who's
Them niggas is
I
dead.
can't even
Them
speak.
Stop it, dead.
Whose spaceship
It would have to be like
would you
Malcolm
go
X's
on?
spaceship
Malcolm
with,
X.
with Martin
Malcolm
Luther King
X goes to the
leading
moon.
it.
Are you gonna say
And George Washington Carver.
Why
Telling
not-
it,
not
it would have
George
to be,
Carver.
now it would have to be
Martin
something
Luther
like
King before
yeah, but it'll have to be
Carver.
some people that I know
Jelani.
is really on that being
Malcolm
smart
X
timing, bro,
has
and not just
a
thinking they
trip
got
to the
all the
moon,
right
you going
answers.
on it?
No.
You're not.
Only if it was to relocate because Earth has got.
I'm never coming back.
Really?
Never coming back.
Okay. See.
I'll go if I'm never
Only
coming
if it's
back.
that,
Like,
like that
If
type
we
of
could
vibe.
live there, I'm
Yeah.
on the way.
Yeah,
So,
let's-
If I gotta
that
come
type
back,
of vibe
I
where-
ain't doing it. But that makes more sense because
Right, they
the
got. It would have
chances
to
of,
make
like,
sense. It doesn't matter
hurting
who's
yourself
behind it.
going back and forth is
Especially-
probably
That
greater.
matters to him, but to you, it's more so if
For the why.
the end of the earth.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
So
But
it's more
to your
survival for you.
Yo,
But to
y'all
your
are
women's
funny.
empowerment
Y'all are
Yes,
funny.
question.
I get it.
exactly.
I'm getting
And
what's going
Jesse
on.
that's-
loves it here.
Yeah, I
That's-
do. I do. You're fast, but you're talking it slow. That's what's funny. That's how she's getting me,
So there's
Jelani.
nine.
No, that's how she's getting me.
I know, she's-
Because
No,
she really
you're
is.
talking and she's talking low while
Okay,
when
it's
you're
low.
talking.
Okay.
So you're missing what she's
Okay.
saying.
Okay.
They're like
That's
they're
messed
like
up.
ad libs.
That's
They're like
all
ad
you
libs.
fool.
You're
That's
missing
all
ad
you
No,
libs.
fool.
I think he's on point though. I think he's
course he is.
understanding.
Now it's
no,
quiet.
but it's true. It's true.
No, you're right.
No, you
I didn't
both-
say that he wasn't on point.
You
Like,
both answered it.
Right.
He was saying that it matters to him who's supporting the project.
Well, you're talking about
and you
his
were
answer for the
saying,
question.
and I'm
He's
assuming
funny.
that maybe you have some fears about going up to outer space.
Molly, are you manipulative? See,
You didn't hear that laugh?
The answer is
The laugh
is the
gave it
answer.
away in the
Laugh is
beginning,
the answer.
yeah.
It's a rap. No, nothing
No,
else.
but
Only anything else.
I'm there with you. Because
But this,
it's
hold
much-
on.
Where am I?
But this is Molly, not
you're not in
therapist.
space.
Right.
Wait, this is Molly,
having
not
two
the
different
therapist.
You're not
conversations.
in space.
Huh? We're having two
unless
different
there's
Are you
conversations.
talking to
answers.
Molly or the therapist? I need to
The
know
reason
before I
was-
make sure I
okay.
can see.
I'm gonna
what we
tie it
talking
all.
to right
Can I
now.
just tie it all together? I'm gonna tie it all
Put
together.
a knot and
Okay.
ribbon on it.
So
With
you
a
were
bow.
asking about women's empowerment. Is
Wait.
it empowering for
Wait.
these women to go to space?
Okay.
And then my question to you both was, if you had the opportunity to go to space, would you? You said you would if somebody who you really respected was supporting the trip.
But my
And
answer
you,
was
wait, hold on.
okay. go
And
ahead.
you said
'Cause I know
that
where
if
you're going.
the end of the earth was near and that was the escape, that you would for survival, right? So two very different responses,
She's
all
funny.
good.
She is funny.
But how it ties into women's empowerment, I do think it's very empowering to go into space, because I think about it for myself and I'm like, damn, if somebody offered me a trip to the moon, would I do it? In theory, hell yeah, I'm
They
going
didn't
to the
go to
moon.
the moon.
let's-
They
No,
didn't
no,
go
no,
to the
I know,
moon.
no, I'm just giving it as an example.
Okay.
But in theory, sounds lovely.
Well,
Let's go to
guess
the
what?
moon. That's amazing.
This is a great segue.
I would feel very empowered,
Right.
but
I'm glad.
but in reality, would I go to the moon? I'm with you.
Right.
If the
It
end of
only
the
ma-
earth
if it
is
makes
near,
sense.
but I'd be too afraid to go because I'm like, what if it crashes?
Right.
We've seen those crashes, so. So anyway, I do
Following-
think it's empowering.
No, I
because
get it.
think it
Correlating.
takes, I think
I
it
get
takes
it.
a lot of courage to get into a spaceship
Right.
and go into space, even if it's 11 minutes.
Speaking of,
you just got 20 times more funnier than me. Too. I get it. Go.
Speaking of women's
She's
empowerment,
funny.
we got one of the women that went to space and what they had to say.
Let's do it.
Gayle King.
Gayle King, give it up.
This pictures.
I don't like that people are calling it a ride. A ride, you never see a male astronaut who's going up in space and they said, oh, he took a ride.
What? No!
He actually,
Let it rock.
Alan Shepard did.
There they all
That's
are.
why it's called, this particular capsule is called the New
Right,
Shepard.
watch the whole thing, bro. It's a minute.
That
Watch the whole thing.
That route. No one
Hold
said
this.
he took
I
that
might
ride.
break his iPad.
It's
Let's
always
see.
referred to as
We gotta
a
pay
ride
attention,
or a
please, please.
So I feel that that's a little disrespectful to what the mission was.
You talk about women's empowerment. There you go.
Does. We use space technology all the time, whether it's your GPS, whether it's your satellite. That doesn't just happen. Every time a flight goes up, they get some type of information.
Think about your
Two of the
response, but also
astronauts, I
listen.
still have a hard time calling myself an astronaut, but two of the astronauts on board, one is a rocket scientist, one is an astrophysicist activist. We're actually doing experiments. But every time one of those goes up, you get some information that can be used for something else. So I wish people would do more due diligence.
gotta watch.
And then my
Look at
question
this.
is, have y'all been to space? Have you been to space? Go to space or go to Blue Origin and see what they do and how they do, and then come back and say,
Oh, shit.
this is a terrible thing.
Jesse, have you been to space?
Yo,
Talking that
I'm
shit.
Some guys who were saying,
Is that? Oh
No.
no.
Let it finish, please.
Please. Maybe I can do this to the young girls in particular. But it's not just the young girls. We're also encouraging. I mean, the boys look at it and see what women and young girls can do. So I know there are cranky Yankees. I know there's some haters. But I'm not going to let people steal my joy and steal the joy of what
Right.
we did and what we accomplished that day. I'm just not going to let it in.
And that's the key word that makes you agree with every. You didn't even hear
I mean, I
everything
like
she
that
said.
point.
No,
I
she
did.
did.
She lost it all.
Therapist.
No,
I've
she
been
lost
very
it all.
focused.
Yeah.
Have you heard everything? She
I heard
said?
everything.
Hold on,
She
that's it.
started with
That's-
this.
that's-
No. But I want to start
I
this.
don't like
Look.
that people are calling it a ride. A ride,
The male-
you never see
male
a man,
astronaut.
Wait.
a male astronaut who's going up in space.
All right. She's not an astronaut,
can we-
so we can't compare.
But she
So
has
that's why
astronauts
all-
on board.
Yeah, but I don't care.
She
You never.
did say,
She
though.
said you never see a male astronaut. So if she can, she's
never
not
s-
comparing herself.
Wait, what did she say?
She's
But she
comparing
did
herself
say-
Wait,
to
wow.
an
What did she say?
astronaut.
What
She
did-
said a male.
You
and-
never see. She said you never see what?
a male, and then she stopped and said a male astronaut.
Call
and
it
then
a ride.
Yes, call it a ride. But
Because-
it's cool. But she's not an
You never see-
astronaut.
you never see people call it a
Oh my
ride
God.
that when it's a male astronaut is what she said. Now they're calling it a ride when they're talking about when it's women.
But they're
That's what
That's
she
the
said.
point that
She's
she's
not-
making.
There's
That's
no
the point
point,
she's making.
but there's not. That's
Is
not
she
a
an
good.
a- is she
That's
an
not a
astronaut?
good point because she's not an
Okay, let's
astronaut.
not talk
If,
about
it.
if that was one of the two astronauts saying that, then yeah, that's more likely.
This'll be a
And
good
then
clip.
where she stopped you at was that joy word. When she did those two little things, nothing else in the
That's still my
beginning
joy?
mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
because
was-
you're like, I get it. Yeah,
I-
still
no,
my
no, I
joy.
was-
She was
I
paying.
was
Molly
listening
was
to
like
all
she
the
was
little
paying
points.
attention.
I
Molly
was
was like she was
listening to all
paying
the
attention
little
more than
points.
you were. 'Cause
No,
you
no.
were getting frustrated the whole time.
No, but
We
you
just
know
had to
what she
reiterate
did
the quote
say?
to you.
Yes,
I
no,
was-
you didn't. I understood
Okay, you
everything
know
that
what?
was said there.
Okay.
I just, once she said a male astronaut, I felt like the rest of that to me, I heard it all, but it's bullshit because you're not an astronaut.
So, but you know what she
So
said?
what are you comparing?
You know what? But you know
Talk
what,
to
Jesse?
Molly.
Check it.
Go,
Check
I'm listening.
it, yeah.
Check it. One of the things that she said kind of in the middle there was she said, I feel a little awkward even calling myself
She
an
did say
astronaut.
that.
Yeah, she did, but she called herself
so-
an astronaut.
No,
She
she
did
didn't.
because maybe technically, I don't know what
She
what
did.
the operational definition for an astronaut is, but maybe it's somebody who goes into space. And if she went into space, then technically she is.
It's a bar she
You know
knows.
what
It
I
might
just
be
said.
different
Yeah, it's a
than
bar,
saying-
but you know what Jesse does.
It might be
Jesse
different
does
than saying
No,
I'm
but
a
she
very,
didn't say that
I'm
she
a
was
very
an astronaut.
experienced
She did. She didn't say
astronaut. Yeah.
She did say she was. She compared herself to an
She
astronaut
did. She
because
compared
she
herself to an
didn't.
astronaut,
Because she
but
didn't say
she was an astronaut.
Because no, she compared herself to an astronaut because she didn't say she wasn't an astronaut. So in that conversation, that minute-long thing, somewhere along that, she should have also said, "I'm not an astronaut." But da-da-da-da-da.
Kind of
So
insinuated,
she did.
though.
I
She
no,
did.
no, I
She
don't think
did
she
kinda
did.
Look,
I don't think
insinuate
she did a
that,
good
though,
enough
because
job.
she
Let
did
me
kinda-
just
she was-
explain.
she
But you were
insinuated-
bugging. You were bugging throughout it, so I think you missed where she said she emphasized that there were 2 astronauts on board.
Yeah, I know, but
That she
that
didn't
doesn't
call herself an astronaut.
No,
right
I'm
there.
not. No, but what I'm saying now, if you listen to the whole thing, so what I took out of
You
that.
wanna run it back
is
real
she's-
fast?
Yes, because she's saying that like.
Let's just run it back until we hear
Have
it.
you been in space?
Well,
Has your plane gone?
2 different
gone
topics, 2 different
15 more miles up higher? No, so you can't say nothing.
That's why his mic is
Come
that
on,
low.
man.
Wait, so what are you really upset about?
I'm just upset about how she's trying
That's
to tell
funny.
people. I'm
That's-
gonna
that
tell
might be
you how
gaslighting.
she's. No, it's not. She's trying to
Okay.
tell people how they should, like, how they can judge or not judge this because she went 10 more feet higher than an airplane. I'm not jacking it.
See, and that's not factual because it wasn't 10 more feet, but it's fine.
Oh yeah, she is an astronaut. Because an astronaut is
Oh,
nobody.
my.
An astronaut is nobody. An astronaut is somebody that's just trained.
Goes into space?
Yeah, to train, to travel. So if you just take a class, you're an astronaut. You don't even got to go there. If you just train and go to class, you're an astronaut.
Look at mine.
I got you. Cool.
Do you want to be an astronaut?
No.
Be an astronaut.
I think yous are missing my point. Like, I'm not. She used the word as if it's like an astronaut. Like,
No, your point was saying that she's
a
not an
person
astronaut.
who is trained to travel in spacecraft. So that means
Right,
you
so that
don't
means she's an
necessarily.
astronaut then.
That means you don't even have to go to space to be an astronaut.
Okay, now we learned something new today.
So then I'm cool. Then
All
you're
right,
right.
so
She's
then-
all the way right. Go
All
ahead.
right, so,
Play it again.
so we're not missing your point.
No,
You
no,
missed her
no.
point.
No,
And you
no,
missed
no.
our point.
No, because you didn't know that. I just feel like it.
But what was your point was that she's not an astronaut.
See, I appreciate the fact that you just broke out the phone to check out what the
Yes.
definition is, because then you learn.
Look
In
at
that
her
moment, you're like,
mediating.
oh,
So,
Look at her
okay.
mediating.
Yeah, but there's nothing to mediate. I'll be honest with myself.
She de-escalated
I was up
information.
here, but now that I see what the definition of an astronaut is, I have no comment at all because an astronaut is somebody
she
that
is.
just doesn't. It doesn't even have the hours. So I guess you could be an astronaut in 4 hours.
Hey, man,
You know, like if
that
you
was-
Right,
study
that's
it
it.
for
Like
4
you said,
hours.
that was your
Let's
point.
go all
4
take
hours.
let's all take a class and become
Cool.
astronauts.
4
You wanna
hours.
become an astronaut?
I
We
think
could have did it. We could have
also
did it
be
in this
millionaires.
pod if we would have just Googled some stuff for like 2 hours.
Maybe.
Astronauts. So what do you feel like I was missing?
But you know what I liked
You-
about
all right,
you know
I'll
what
let
I liked
Molly go.
about
Go
what
ahead,
she
Molly.
shared though?
What?
I do like how, because I do appreciate people who have the ability to do this, which is what she recited. Whether or not it's true, I don't know. But just that, you know, there's lots of people who are commenting. It's the haters out there, right, are saying this, that, the other, which we saw one of those comments, right, from someone that was criticizing Katy Perry for it. And she's saying, like, I feel really good about what I did. Like, yeah, maybe it was 11 minutes in space, but, you know, I feel very accomplished in what I did. And who knows, that might inspire them to go to the moon. That might inspire them to do something more grander or not. They might be like, all right, bucket list, it's
You
off the
hyped
list.
up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, I am, and I feel the same sentiments, bro. Because I
So-
feel like even if it was male, I would have that same. Like it doesn't change that it was females.
Right.
Like I think
think
my
that's what
point
you got
more so
heated
is like
about.
the title.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was that.
it doesn't change that it's
Okay.
females. I think it's more so
Peeling
the fact that
layers
you're
back.
saying.
But you know what?
Yeah, like you're saying astronauts and like don't like I don't know. I just feel like it's more of a. You're trying to talk as you're. It's more of like a.
Right.
Now that I read it, it's like all right. Like you went to what? You got done with your show
Did
and
a
you
class.
went and did a
Yeah,
class
and
for
now
like
you went
2
to space and
weeks and
whatnot.
yeah. So
For 11
but I think
for 11 minutes.
if it was Joe Rogan, I would have
same
this
stance.
same energy.
Yeah.
So it's not just that it's females; it's more so like of the level.
That's valid. That's
Honestly,
valid.
I mean,
think.
honestly, Jesse, I think you are agreeing with her in the sense that you're like, it doesn't matter to me whether or not it's a female or a male astronaut who went on the trip. Like, credit to what you did.
Mm.
You
No,
know?
you're trying
You agree?
No, I'm waiting till the end of that.
Listen,
That's dope.
I'm gonna listen
That's
to
dope.
Molly.
But she's definitely a manipulator because that
Nah, that wasn't
if she-
manipulating.
if she- no, it is. 'cause
That
I
was a
don't-
good perspective.
No. Hell no.
No,
Hell
because
nah.
you just
Hell
don't see it, and
no.
that's okay. It's really okay. It's really okay. Hell
No. Because if I feel like they was hovering over Phoenix the whole time, none of that matters to me.
No,
Let me.
but just in the sense of it being identified female or male. That's the part of it that she was saying people have been like hating on them for. Like she's saying, they're minimizing it because as
Yes,
women they're
but-
calling it a ride, whereas with males they wouldn't call it a ride. I don't think you're.
Molly, let me put it
agreeing
together.
with
Let me put it together because I get where you're coming from. He doesn't.
No, I get what
Jesse,
she, no, you're
Listen,
literally
Jesse,
right, because
you
I
don't
literally,
because
no,
listen,
I
you
do,
thought she was
I
manipulating
do.
you. She really
No,
wasn't.
I
She
know
was
what
telling
she's
you.
saying.
So
I
do
know
you agree?
what
Do you
she's
agree with
saying.
Gayle King?
No, I know what
Do you
she's
agree with
saying.
Gayle King?
But that point, that little point, yes, I agree
Okay,
with that.
all right.
But I don't think
That's the
that.
part
I
of it,
think
yeah.
Gayle
That's
King.
what I'm saying.
I think Gayle King is also pandering.
Okay.
So am I agreeing with Gayle King or am I agreeing with Gayle King's pandering? So I hear exactly what
Okay.
she's saying,
I
but I
think-
think the whole thing is a pandering.
I think what you're
That's
saying
what I'm
is
saying.
that
Period. So regardless of what
props,
she thinks of what
I think
she's
what
saying,
you're saying is
I think it's all
props to
pandering.
males or females, astronauts going into
No.
space. But in this case,
Use our pandering.
maybe they could have done better than 11 minutes in space,
No.
regardless of whether or not they're females or males.
Nope, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying
I
that.
don't know what you're saying because you use the word.
I'm
pandering.
saying that. Yes, pandering.
I'll
Yes.
just shut up.
No, stop saying that.
No, you don't have.
I don't mean
No.
it's irely.
Yeah, there's literally
But
two guys here.
I don't
Like,
have
we
to
don't,
try
we're not
to
giving
figure
that
it
vibe.
out.
I used it when
You're
I
not
used
giving that
the,
narrative.
when I used the word pandering. I
Is
use
pander and
it.
ponder spelled the same way or no? Ponder.
No, I think this is
Ponder.
different. I use pandering as if like you don't totally agree with what you're saying, but you're just saying things to combat what other people are saying towards you. Like I don't believe that was 100% Gayle King's whole feelings. Period. So you can
What
say
point-
what Gayle
All right,
King
so
is
back-
saying
so
is
Jesse-
the truth, but it's
Jesse,
like a,
before we
I
get to the
went
next
to outer
topic-
space. Yeah, you're right. And
Jesse,
man, what,
so
no,
before we
that's
get to the
pander
before
me.
we get to the next
That's not-
topic, before we
But
get to
do
the
you respect that maybe in her world she feels accomplished by having done what she did, even if you don't think it's the greatest accomplishment for her?
Yeah, respect. That's broad. Yeah, I'm gonna respect anybody for doing anything. But what I'm saying is, for her to take the point of if it's a male, then you would have said this. That's where my problem is. So I get the whole point of what yous are saying, but I stop when it's like just because it's females, you guys say this, or just because, and that's
Yeah,
why
I
I
don't think
simply
you agree
said
with
Jesse's
that.
like, no. I
out
would've said
loud.
this
If it was a man, I
Exactly.
would have had the same
Exactly.
sentiment.
All right,
So
all right.
in
That's what I'm
essence,
saying.
you're
That's
agreeing,
what I'm
but
saying.
in essence, you're agreeing with her.
No.
Honestly, the way
But
he
you
broke
are,
it down,
because the
the
way
that-
it sounded like a disagreement. But you have to explain it again. The way that he said it,
She's
it does
being,
sound like a disagreement.
but that's why I said manipulation, because
No,
she's
no,
being,
no, but it's not. It's not.
it's
when
not
she manipulated, I
manipulation.
really call her- I
She's
really call
being
her-
halfway right and halfway ha with saying I
No.
agree with
I'm
Gayle
not
King.
ha about it.
Let me say. Tell me
What
how
I'm-
he's agreeing.
What I'm saying, the reason why I think, in a sense, you're agreeing with what she's saying is because she's saying so many people have been criticizing us, which we believe as women, calling it a ride, whereas if we were a group of men, people would not be saying it's a ride. They would have a higher, degree of value upon that experience.
But if
Let
I
her
did,
land. I
and
knew
wait,
you were
wait.
gonna stop. Let her land.
Wait,
Let her
wait.
land. Let her land.
And I think you're agreeing with that point that she's making. I think you're saying, yeah, I don't care if men went up for 11 minutes in space or women went up for 11 minutes in space. I would still think of it in the same way, which is that it could have been better.
No, Molly, that wasn't.
How
an
is that
agreement.
agreement
That wasn't
if
an
she
agreement. I
said-
got you.
okay,
I got
there we
you.
go.
That wasn't.
I
That
don't-
wasn't an
I don't
agreement.
think-
You
I-
didn't
I know
spell
what
it.
she's
No,
trying to
wait,
do,
you gotta-
though.
you
I
gotta-
don't
you
think
gotta
it's
chill.
discriminating against women.
No, I'm not.
She's making a point that's saying people are sexist.
Right.
And I think you're saying, no, I don't give a fuck if you're a female or a male.
that is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
let
in
me-
that
let me help,
sense,
let me
I
help.
think you're agreeing with her.
The way you're saying it, I can understand why it didn't
Okay.
come as agreeing to him. But I get what she's saying.
I know, me too.
But,
But
you
you see what I'm saying
You get what
too,
you're
though,
agreeing.
right?
You get what how you're agreeing.
Yes,
You
yes.
get how you're agreeing.
I get what she's saying,
Do you
but I
get
feel
how
like
you're agreeing with Gayle King?
yes, because she's saying it shouldn't matter. However
Okay,
you feel it shouldn't
that's
matter.
it,
male
that's
or
it.
female.
You're
Yes,
saying
I
the same
understood,
thing. Okay,
but
cool.
I literally understood that.
But Molly
the first
wasn't
time
saying
she
Molly.
said that.
Molly, you're not saying it like that.
That's-
So it's like
yes,
I get how you can
yes.
say that he's not agreeing
Yes.
because you're not saying it like that.
Yes,
You're
that's what I'm
saying
saying.
to
I think you don't.
I was
agree
there
with-
right away.
I don't think you agree with like the 11-minute six.
Yes.
I think you agree with the lack of sexism.
Yes, yes,
In
yes.
astronauts going to
Yes.
space.
you agree
Yes.
with
So
what
it's just- it's
Gayle
two
King is not
separate
saying.
issues.
Yes.
You
what
agree
she's
with
Yeah.
Gayle
not
King
saying.
is
There we
not
go.
saying.
Yes, yes. What she's saying it should.
You agree with her
what she's saying
stance.
it should be.
Not even.
shouldn't-
Yeah,
I guess
it's
it
not really
should
her
be.
stance.
Yeah, it
it's
just
her
should
stance
be.
is like, but it makes sense. It makes sense. You think that whether it was a male or female, but I don't even know.
I don't know. I got 2 tough
'Cause
ass daughters, so I don't want no type of. I'm gonna look at it the same way, bro.
It's interesting because it's an agreement, but it's also not because
Gayle
doesn't think of it as a ride.
But do you see what I'm saying?
He says that he would think of it as a ride, whether it's a male or female. But Gayle doesn't think of it as a ride. She thinks that it's as a trip to space. Like she's an astronaut and different things. But it is an agreement.
You think of it as a ride.
The principle. You agree with the principle. You agree with the principle.
Can you see how I thought that she was trying to be manipulative at first? By saying what you said,
what you need to understand is that when you use the word manipulative, it's
not in a bad.
It's a very negative word.
Okay.
So if she was being manipulative, like that's like
not in like.
I know.
But
I'm just saying for future reference. Like I don't want you to use the word manipulative because just know another woman's gonna want to throw hands. Not gonna throw hands, but like.
But I feel like I know her, so I don't think. Did you take offense?
I'm not offended by it. I was just if let's go back to like intentions.
Yeah.
My intentions here were just to help kind of solidify the situation because I was sensing where you were at with it.
Yeah.
And then I think the way in which you were kind of speaking about it maybe was not necessarily aligned. So I was just like, all right, let's all try to understand this exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then with your explanation,
see, I thought she was playing when you
your
did that. I
explanation,
really
Jelani,
did.
that actually helped me to understand it even further because it's like
what helps? What helps?
Your
you
explanation,
explained it,
of it from his interpretation. Because I think ultimately what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's a ride whether it's a female doing it or a male doing it. But I wouldn't differentiate amongst the sexes because I'm a sexist man. No. Like everybody's equal in this situation.
Oh, I'm not a sexist man.
Exactly.
Okay.
But 11 minutes is still considered a ride in your world.
Yes.
Okay, I get it. I hope everybody else gets it.
Yeah, see, I was there, but I thought she was playing with me at first when she was doing that. That's why I said that word. But you're right.
I was just trying to understand where you're
right. I get what you're saying by the word.
I just wanted to understand you.
This was
so now
but now I understand.
We've been at it for this for over 2 hours now. See how fast the podcast
Time
can go.
flies.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun and laughing and yelling at your.
We're having a good time.
Last one. This will be fun. This will be fun. We're gonna skip the Justin.
Is this Justin?
No, we're gonna skip the Justin Bieber one because we don't have like that much time. Like as far as
when we done, I gotta say.
Listen, we gotta do 5 minutes of Justin.
When we get done.
Hilarious.
Listen, when we do have to touch that topic.
All right.
But when we get done, I gotta say thank you for something. I'm not gonna tell you now. I'm gonna wait till we're done.
All right.
I'm gonna tell you what
y'all want to do Justin?
We're on the same page.
All right. Y'all want to do Justin? We'll do Justin.
I want to. Go ahead. You introduce it.
Justin
I got a
Bieber
question about the question.
Justin
you can bring
Bieber.
up the other topic. I was just.
Yeah.
That was a little request.
If you want to do both, we'll do both. We're just gonna be here for 3 hours.
Which one is the best?
No, we don't have to be
with?
here for 3 hours.
It's been 2.5 hours.
All right, so let's do Justin Bieber quick. Let's try to do Justin Bieber in 10 minutes. You think we could do that in 10 minutes or no?
We'll see. Let's see. I know who we're dealing with.
Let's see.
What's the other topic too?
Huh?
What's the other topic?
Tracee Ellis Ross's double standard.
Oh, right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. We might be here for.
I'm gonna take a 1 minute break. Use the bathroom.
A woman break is a classic. Do your thing.
But
before your woman break, you want to leave your mic.
Oh, yeah, that would be a very good idea.
You know what I mean?
I'll be right back.
Hilarious.
We'll be right here. Y'all really thought she was joking with me there. I knew what was going on.
I don't know which part you think she was joking
with that the whole Gayle thing, but I knew what was going on.
Oh yeah.
But I thought she was playing.
I swear to God, that was mad layered. So it was like I had to really focus to like dissect. Like okay. Because it's both. It really is both. You disagree with what she's saying, but you do agree. Because she said, I would have never said that you agree with her. Because obviously, surface level, you don't agree with her. But on a deeper level, like the principle of it, you do
understand where she's saying.
Right. And I don't even think if you and Gayle King were talking, would y'all have understood that y'all are both like y'all on the same page. Yeah. Because honestly, what you're saying is that. You're low key discrediting her.
Yes.
So y'all would have never come together on the same page together. No. But like, she was here and pieced together that from like looking on the outside looking in.
And the big screaming thing she's saying, it should be looked at the same.
Yeah.
And that's cool. But yeah, I'm gonna look at it the same, but not what she's
not
saying.
how you look at it. So it's
I'm looking at this the same, but it's a ride.
Right.
The same.
Right, and honestly, the Gayle probably would have respected that because at least it's the same. Oh, I would assume. Woo! This has been an interesting episode. I'm not mad at it.
But I got me having daughters. I swear I try to attack everything like that. Like I'll stop myself and be like, "Oh, this is dumb," and be like, "Damn, like, am I being sexist?" You know what I mean? Like, am I being like I'll really and I don't know if that's only because I got daughters, but I know for a fact.
Savannah, I know you had stuff to do. If you want to take off, you can.
I'm not doing anything, but the camera's dying.
Okay. Welcome back, Liv. There you go. That's for you.
Thank you.
Savannah, as always, I appreciate you. Sorry I had to deal with the craziness, but at this point, you should be used to it.
I am.
You had a good time, didn't you, Savannah?
Yes.
Was you laughing?
Thank you so much.
Was you? All right, good. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
We got you some laughs. You got some nice pictures.
Honestly, she's double crazier. What's the
You met some legends. You met 3 legends.
What's the craziest thing you've heard on the pod? Come on, please.
Something about
What's this?
the size of somebody's dick or something.
I didn't think that's what she was gonna say.
Went like this or something.
That was on the pod?
That was on this pod.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know his name, but yeah.
He's been back.
No, I'm not saying
I'm joking.
it doesn't matter about the person, but I just don't know what episode.
The conversation.
Yeah, the conversation, none of that.
Oh.
Oh, you know what's
Yes.
crazy? You know what's crazy? I think you are. That's why I didn't understand it, because he wasn't talking about his piece or a piece. He was talking about the woman's
Huh?
called equipment.
Women got a piece?
Oh, yes.
Equipment, not
It was
PC. I said
something
equipment,
about
equipment.
Somebody's, yeah.
He's fucking. He said that. You know the craziest thing? You know what a man would do for a hole this big?
Oh, yeah, that
Talking
was
about
it.
women's regions.
Yeah,
So
crazy.
that's what you're talking about. I was
That's
like, who
crazy.
said that? That's funny. I thought you were gonna say what he said about his preference. I don't know. It's fine. Same guy, same thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said a lot.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Savannah.
Yes. You'll get these soon.
Sounds good.
for
Thank you.
everything.
Have a good
This
day.
is beeping. I don't know if that means it's. I think I just hit
I
something.
think it's that
hit
laugh.
something?
Your laugh. You did that laugh too many times, and it's
Come
sensing
on,
the
Molly.
laugh. It's sensing the laugh, and it's
Let me
telling
see.
us
Let me see.
that we better be careful. That's the be careful beat. That laugh too many times. Be careful.
All right, we're good.
We're good? Okay,
We're good.
perfect. All right.
All right.
Topic.
We're going
Topic
to Justin
number-
Bieber.
Numero uno.
Yeah, let's do
It's
Justin
definitely not
Bieber
Uno,
first.
but it's fine.
I know.
You could probably be kind of quick.
Well,
with
one
this
of two at this point.
More
right?
than the two. We got to be
I got
quicker
2
with
clips
this
for
one than
Justin Bieber.
Tracy. Yeah, let's do that.
Only thing that I have to say about this is that in a relationship where 2 people respect each other, this would not be going on. And I know that my man would never go to a strip club and be kissing up on somebody else in the strip club while I sit at home with my newborn child. And the fact that he is cheesing so hard is crazy as hell. Crazy as hell. It honestly even looks like when he goes in for it, he tilts. He tilts his head like he's going in for like a lip kiss. Like look. And I think the thing is too, is that if this was a woman doing this, people would be like up in arms, like, oh my God, this mother is at the strip club and her husband is at home with the baby. But I feel like he gets a pass. Like he gets a pass for doing shit that moms would absolutely not get a pass for doing. Go home and spend time with your child. Because this is just a little bit much. And I think that he deserves all the flack for this. Only thing that I have to say
I got
about
2.
Uh-oh.
You said you put that on me?
Yeah, you didn't. That was me.
I was pressing pause. It's fine.
Oh, I thought you was grabbing in my fault. So then it was me. I let go.
What do we think? What's our thoughts? It definitely is. There's a pattern. You didn't feel that?
Yeah, I did, but it was right here. I'm
Dropping.
I'm locked
You
in.
gotta get Steve Jobs.
I'm not worried about that. I'm locked in. I want to hear these answers because I got 2 answers.
All right, but
I mean, I didn't think that was the topic that you were going to bring up
There's
today.
another.
Okay.
Well,
Oh,
actually-
I see. Okay.
Can y'all
But
remember
that's
that?
fine.
Can y'all remember that topic? Can y'all remember? He's drunk.
Jesse,
Can you?
No, I promise. It's
Yeah.
just, I'm gonna just put it
Robert
right here.
Can you remember that clip?
Yeah.
Can you both remember? Because
I've seen that clip already.
If I show you another clip, can
Is
you
it going to
remember?
be about the same
In a
subject?
relationship,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
They thing.
No, I think
It's just
a different
It's
topic.
no same topic.
Same topic, different
Oh,
perspective.
a different comment. Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Justin Bieber is only happy when he's around black people.
Oh, this is the other one. Okay.
That ain't crazy to y'all. He's only happy when he around black people. And Justin Bieber's best album was Journals. That album was for black people. Every time I seen Justin Bieber around white people, he's mad.
Miserable.
Just like the paparazzi. He was like, get on, get your stuff, get on, go, get on. I seen him with Sexyy Red, he was just like. I seen him with his wife, he was like. Justin Bieber is
I
only
was
happy.
wondering where you got that from. Yeah, so it was his comments.
Not even
Okay.
just it's a popular.
I
topic,
think it's
honestly.
real. I think
Yeah.
it's real. I think it's
Yeah.
real though. I think it's real.
Talk
I
about
think
it,
that.
talk about
I think that majority, because I know, like Molly's, and I know a lot of people out there that aren't like this, but I think that majority of, like, the white culture are more judgmental. One, I feel like, and then on the other end, I feel like that sometimes, like, more privileged white people are comfortable doing shit that they might not feel like is right around black people. So it's kind of like both sides. It's confusing, but it's like we're more understanding, but like you're more comfortable being an F up around me than your sister or something, or your cousin, or a guy you went to college with, you know, that's white. I don't know. It's weird, but I feel like that's literally
little
what
too
that
straight,
is.
almost, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is.
I think that's pretty valid. I think you should have saved it and let Molly go first since she's the white person.
My
Oh no,
fault.
I appreciate. Yeah. I've definitely had my eye on Justin Bieber and kind of like what he's been through since he was discovered young. You know, when he was discovered was around the time that you probably, maybe even a little bit younger, but when you met Tiernan. So Tiernan was kind of, you know, they're similar in age. So I've kind of been watching so many pop stars, right, and just like their evolution through life. And I think Justin has had quite an experience of working with so many different artists. And I love that he has, you know, tackled so many different genres of music. He's collabed with so many different people, and I think he shows his humanness in all of his work. And I think there clearly is a comfort in his diverse group of circle of people, you know? Like if you see him at like even, you know, house parties and stuff like that, it's a very diverse mix of people, you know, that he's around. My sense, you know, and this is probably the psychotherapist in me, also the mom in me and the grandma in me, is that being a new dad and also being in Hollywood where, you know, there's no escape from paparazzi, right? Like he literally cannot go anywhere without people harassing him every single step he takes, literally, even in his own house, I'm sure. That there's such intense pressures around that people by all means are going to feel compelled to escape in some way. For some it might be going to the strip club, for some it might be going to the bar, for some it might be going to open mic night, right? Like for some it's taking a walk. It's like, you know, to each his own in how people release and channel the intention and the tension that is felt within one's being, you know? And so there are some couples that are down with strip clubs. Like maybe Hailey Bieber is down with him to go to a strip club. Maybe she's not. Maybe they're going through something. I don't know. But he did appear to be having a good time where he was. And I think he feels very comfortable in front of lots of different types of people. And it seemed like he was having a good time there. And so power to him. I hope it's positive and not something that's going to ultimately, you know, be used against him in some way, you know, because
I'm gonna be Jelani
he
right
has
now.
he has freedom.
You ain't answering the question right now.
No?
Because if like think about it, like what if he got money? So who's to say he can't be out with a group of his? You can have yes men when you got money. So it could be a group of my white friends or my friends that I met, or it could be people that I just got around me that are white. what was really more of the questioning is, what is he? Do you think he's more comfortable with black people, and if so, why would that be a reasoning? I guess in that sense.
Well, the first comment was about like the double standard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Was that one woman saying or questioning, if it were a woman doing the very same thing, how much more judgment would, she receive as opposed to Justin, who's kind of getting a pass. And then the second was coming from that guy saying that, it seems like he's a lot happier around black people. I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen a lot of footage of Justin around white people and black people. Mm-hmm. There's times where it seems like he's having a good time with his wife. Right now, I don't know what's happening in their private, intimate life,
right,
but
recently,
it seems like there
like
might be something going on.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, recently, we didn't discuss it on the pod, but obviously recently it came out and to the world that it's low-key a conspiracy theory that Haley, I don't even know how to word it, kind of set up their relationship like she was kind of almost like a stalker that got what she was after.
She was okay. See, I don't know.
Wow, look at Molly. Molly's just she knows. She knows.
See, I didn't know that deep either. So,
yeah.
Okay.
There are so many opinions out there, though. As always, it's so hard to know what the truth is, right? And it's how much of this is really our business. But what I will say is, I love that Justin Bieber clearly has, all walks of life for friends and seems to have a really good time. One of my favorite videos of him is that Drake song where he
I like that song too a little bit back in the day. Do you think though that he's been through so much that there's a percentage of the white culture that just washed him away, and that might be why he might be cool? Do you think there's a
I think he has a lot of fans. I don't think his fans are going away anytime soon. Oh yeah, white, black, Latino, you name it.
Cool.
I like it. Since we're trying to get the topics
Wait.
going.
Yeah, what about you?
Get
him!
him!
You!
Molly, get him!
What about me?
You don't want to answer?
Answer what?
About both of those perspectives and questions.
Do you want to ask me a
raised?
There we go.
No, just about the two perspectives that you just shared.
How do I feel about the question? Come on, Molly, you're supposed to be a therapist. Give me something to answer.
Give him a question to answer.
Yeah, she's not doing the work.
It's reciting the same very thing that you asked us, or what you shared with us. What you showed us was, is it a double standard that Justin Bieber is going out to a strip club, and is that okay versus if he were a woman doing the very same thing? Does he get a pass as a man? Number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, is he happier around black people?
As far as one, I feel like it's wrong on both ends. I don't think it's a double standard. I think that it would have been, if Cardi B would have did the same thing, it would have, when she was with Offset, it would have been looked at crazily. So I don't feel like it's a double standard. Is it wrong? Yeah. But also, their relationship is in such a limbo. 1 minute they're okay, and the next minute they're unfollowing each other on Instagram or whatever. So it's are they together or not? Mm-hmm. If they're not together, then it's completely okay. If they're not together, if they are together, if they are not together, it's okay. If they are together, then it's not necessarily okay.
Are they unfollowed right now?
Last time I checked it, not even check because I don't care like that, but it was quote unquote pop culture news.
But he's not said to be messing with Sexyy Red, right? Or did they kiss, or did they do something that was
right? But he was
doing too
honestly,
much.
Honestly, what he was doing could have been for the video.
Later on, that's what I'm saying. Did he do too much? Do you think?
They're definitely not in a relationship. Okay. I think if anything, it would make the most sense if it was for a music video purpose or whatever.
Something
but I think that Justin Bieber, like you said, loves or enjoys black culture. He's embraced Bryson Tiller and different people of that nature. Worked with different people and whatnot. So it's I know that Bryson Tiller said that when he was first coming up, that Rihanna and Justin Bieber were backstage at his show and he couldn't believe it and whatnot. So it's he's the first to be applauding and rooting for black successful artists and whatnot. And obviously that's what Sexyy Red is, whether you like her or not. But as far as the second question where it was not the double standard, but is he happy? He does
Happier around.
Well,
Yep.
in my opinion, he does seem happy around black
Yes.
people because I think Jesse gave a good breakdown for it. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but it was sound and logical. It might be because he can be more himself, like especially as an artist, because he's not just a white guy. He's a creative and an artist and whatnot. So it's like if you're around people, white people specifically, and they're not creatives and not artists, it's probably gonna be more bland. If they're not artists or creatives, like any type of creative, or whatever, like you're like whether you're white or black or whatever, that's gonna be you have to be a restrained version of yourself, as opposed to when you're around Sexyy Red, who is not just black but she's an artist, and you're in a strip club or whatever. You are a musician like this. That's more enjoyable, especially if you've been publicly seen to be miserable. Like that scene, that could have been a night where
A little boost.
he was getting a little boost, or like a night that he needed from away from being Justin Bieber or being like whatever he's going through or whatever. So like a break or whatever, however you view it, or he was just letting loose or whatever. So
Yeah.
if you ask me the question, I'll always answer. So just FYI.
Well, I'm glad I asked you then.
FYI.
Wait, I want to make one more point though.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I thought you were gonna say
I think
one
a
more
really
bathroom
important
break,
point
but
to
no.
also make regarding Justin Bieber and just like any other artist that's been, or any human that's been super exposed to beautiful, ideal image of beauty, women out there in the world, is that when you're in that lifestyle for so long, you know, I can't even think of the actual word I'm like thinking of, but you know, there's a desensitization that I think happens, right? So like, let's say, you know, you're a man going to a strip club all the time. Over the course of time, you may get like a little desensitized to it, right? Because you're around it all the time. And this is someone who, at a very young age, has been around lots of women of ideal image of beauty who have been throwing themselves at him. Look at all his dancers. So the average woman might look at him in the strip club going like, damn, you know, look at him hanging out with, you know, all these people and whatnot, and maybe judging his experience. But it's like, for him, he might be like, I've been doing this for decades of my life. Like, this is nothing to me. Like, I could see women running around naked, and it's like, I'm not getting off on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just think that that's another point to make.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Another logical perspective. That's what we love here. All right. So, if we're all good on Justin Bieber, the next and very last topic we got today.
Icing on the cake.
Yeah, let's tackle this.
Dessert.
Well, I need
Oh
to
wait,
hear
no, that
these
was dessert, so you
responses.
flipped it.
I need to hear this
It made
response.
sense, like as far as order or chronologically.
It's all good.
Tracy Ellis Ross,
Oh, yeah.
double standard.
Oh, that's another double standard thing.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Yep.
It's always a correlation.
So this is
What
her
did she say? Can we? Now I need to hear what she said. That's what I want.
Unfortunately,
know what
toxic
she said.
masculinity.
Usually.
But didn't she say something about she goes for?
Younger
wait, just
guy.
wait.
Okay,
a minute,
okay,
wait a
okay.
minute,
You
wait a
got.
minute.
I just want to make sure we was.
My
I'm blowing
thing
up
is-
the spot over here.
No, you're good. What's it called? Usually have it broken down between either clips or screenshots, and that one was one I had screenshotted, but I didn't put it to the iPad, so you just gotta give me 2 seconds for me to find it. Definitely hate when this happens.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
We in overtime right now. Anyway, the people is getting blessed on Easter. We at OT, baby. We could be at home.
This is
eating
the encore right
eating
here.
them hard-boiled eggs, trying not to fart. You know, but we
That's
here
crazy.
with you.
That's
You see what I'm saying?
This is why overtime.
What a blessing.
isn't always the
Happy
greatest.
Easter.
Right?
I know, we came out for the holiday.
And shout out to y'all for coming out on your Easter to kick it with me for a couple hours. Much
No,
appreciated.
this has been lovely. Thank you.
Thank you for the favor. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Thank you for the favor.
I was waiting. I was like, he didn't catch
Listen,
it.
I
I
came here to
Right
support
away.
you,
It's
okay?
appreciate it. I found Tracy Ellis, but I need, what the fuck? I need the exact post. Of course not. I'm not going to find it. Anyway, off rip. Oh, found it. That's crazy.
Diana Ross's daughter, too, for those of you who don't know.
Her what? What's her name?
Diana Ross's
Diana Ross's
daughter.
what? Diana Ross is what?
Daughter.
How'd you say it the first time?
Daughter.
Where are you from?
I'm from Nyack.
Say how you say daughter the first time.
Did I say daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, daughter.
Is that from where you're from?
Where the
I mean,
fuck
that's
is
from my
Nyack, New York?
parents.
Because that's more like a city.
Queens,
Yeah,
Manhattan.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Manhattan.
That's why I asked you where you're
Yeah.
from. Okay.
Nyack is in Manhattan?
No,
No, it's right
My mom
before.
is from Manhattan. My dad is from
from Queens.
Queens.
That's
So
where
I
it's
was
from.
raised
That's
in a
from
home
Queens.
with
I used to
very
watch King
strong
of Queens.
accents.
That's
yeah.
how the
Okay.
girl.
But where I grew up is we're all transplants.
Have
right?
you ever watched King of Queens? With the funny guy in the girl. Have you ever
That's
watched
funny.
it?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's
I
how
think I
Leah
have,
Reedy
actually.
or
I know
whatever.
the name.
That's how she talked.
How
in
she
that
I'm not
show.
gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see that
She had
too.
talks.
But I didn't really
She
watch that
talks.
shit.
My dad
I
is
really.
from Queens,
I so.
so
Are you Italian?
No.
That's a Steinway.
Are you Greek?
That's a Steinway
Nope.
thing. Steinway
You're Polish
talks
then.
like that. Sounds like that.
No.
But now you're a
Then you're Irish.
She's a singer.
Irish is one.
That's the basic one, but like I'm so
mainly
offensive, but,
mainly Norwegian and Irish.
Norwegian?
Yeah.
I
But
wouldn't have picked
that talk.
I would have.
order
I would
is
have. I know it's like
Steinway.
city.
It's like Queens,
city joint.
yeah.
But I would have. I definitely would have thought Italian. Greek is the second. Polish was like I'm surprised they're not one of the big three. But Fran Fine is who I associated with more than anything.
The nanny.
Have you ever got Fran Fine?
Who's that? Who's
is that the nanny?
The
The
yeah,
nanny.
yeah.
Okay,
The,
yeah,
the
yeah,
laugh
yeah.
I've gotten.
Yeah. Yeah, you do got the laugh kind of. That's
It's a
halfway
little
there.
nasally.
what
It's a
you
little
was
nasally
doing.
over there. It's fine. Tracy Ellis Ross. 52-year-old Tracy Ellis Ross said that she only dates younger men. Women praised her for her preference, but if a man said this, the sisterhood would be in an uproar. Thoughts?
Did she give an age? That's perfectly correct. That's true. There's no way around that. I feel like
Well,
I don't know.
you gotta ask.
Go ahead.
Wait, can you read it one more time?
Go
That
ahead.
might be a little wiggle room. 52-year-old Tracy Ellis Ross said she only dates younger men. Women praised her for her preference, but if a man said this, the sisterhood would be in an uproar. Quiet, you can hear a pin drop.
I mean, there's plenty of older men that are dating younger women, so it's not like it's a shock. You know what I mean?
It's true,
But there, cougar is a thing.
But-
That's for sure.
but he's
Are the older men that are dating younger women, are they not penalized for dating
Yes.
younger women?
Yes.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio.
like, is it talked about more?
I think it's kind of expected in a sense. I don't think people are shocked by it.
You don't hear the
You
negative
think-
I'm
stigma
not gonna
that
say that
Leonardo
it's
think-
DiCaprio-
shocked, but you don't. That's
Is
what I'm
it
saying. It's
accepted?
talked about
Like, is it
in a negative
acceptable,
way
you
more
mean?
than if a woman did it.
I think so. Because I think women can easily get offended by it. You know what I mean?
But it's not. Also, wait. That what we're missing is that she's getting applauded for it.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
that's
point,
so.
yeah.
Is that
Like it's
It's-
almost like it's being revered, whereas when the tables are turned, yeah, no, I think there can be a lot of criticism
Okay, so you're
against
doing-
men
okay.
for being with the younger women, but for whatever reason, it seems like women are.
You got another
it's
post
kind
of
of
it?
like
Okay, good, because it's another part of that.
I mean,
too,
look at
that
Madonna,
has.
right? Madonna's been dating young men since forever.
Do you have the response to why? Do you have what she said? Do you have the reason why she said she does that?
It's toxic masculinity was what I saw.
a
out
52-year-old man debates? A 52-year-old man dates a younger woman. Semicolon. Women call him creepy. Tracy Ellis Ross says the same thing. She's applauded as a beacon for all women. This is why you should just live your life and stop worrying about what people think. The internet is full of dummies.
That's 120% correct, bro. There ain't really no talking around that at all. Like, that's the truth.
There was something
To
I
each his
saw.
own.
There was something I
Yeah.
saw about grooming. Like when a man does it, it's grooming.
It's called grooming, but what? But I think, now I'm not gonna lie. I think when a man does it, it can be a form of grooming. I think where they messing up at is they're not saying it's the same thing when a woman does it.
What was wild? There was another thing that
Like, I
was
think when a
wild.
woman does it, it's a form of grooming too.
There was something that
regardless
was
of-
wild. This doesn't even bother me. There was something that was wild because she was say. I guess it was said that there are things that older
Yes,
men
I like that
don't
response.
have to. There are things that older men she doesn't have to worry, or no, there are things that younger men she doesn't have to worry about with older men.
Yes.
And that like, is why she prefers younger men.
She was saying that older men are set in their ways. So to an extent, if you get an older man, he might be like, it's about to be like this, and this, and that's it. Versus a younger man.
Here goes the grooming one. Tracy Ellis Ross said what a lot of men say. She doesn't want to deal with the annoyances that come with dating a man her age and would rather date a younger man with fewer issues. Men do the same thing, but that's called grooming. I'm just glad I'm younger than Tracy.
There was something out there, though, that I think she was quoted, saying about, she believes that a lot of the men maybe that she's dated have toxic masculinity. And whereas she finds that the younger generations don't have that as often, or I guess in the men that she's chosen to be with. What kind of an age difference, though, are we talking about here?
I was going to ask you personally, like as a female, is there an age? No, I mean, I know I'm not dating a 21-year-old, but like, do you necessarily look at age in that field? And if so, at what age does that start?
I think
personally,
yeah.
Not as a therapist,
personally.
Personally.
Hot seat.
Totally. And the seat doesn't feel hot, okay?
Okay.
I think that so much is contingent upon not just somebody's biological age.
Okay, there we go.
But where they're at
That's
developmentally.
perfect. So age is not going to turn you away right away.
Developmental
it's going to be
age.
the conversation or where they're at in life.
You could be dating I could be dating somebody who's older than me, who acts like a teenager,
Right.
and that's not going to be attractive to me.
That's a fact.
I could be dating somebody younger than me who acts like a very mature man who has emotional intelligence. Attractive.
Okay.
So I think it really comes down to the developmental
I like that.
stage.
See, I like that. I like that. And it wouldn't ever embarrass you either being out with that person and at that point because your bond is like you made your bond.
I think what I've seen a lot is that when there is a major gap in age for people, there can be insecurities that come up.
Okay.
A lot. I'm not saying that it has to happen or will happen every single time with people, but I do see that periodically with people where it's like, why, like, when are they going to find somebody more attractive than me? Or maybe, they'll find somebody who has something better than I do, or, so I have seen where sometimes it's challenging when the biological age is not closer together.
Right. Okay.
But
makes sense.
But in this case, it sounds like she's having a good old time, and power to her, I don't know what the age difference is, but it sounds like in her experience with the men that she's dated that are older than her or maybe around her age, she feels like she can't relate as much.
Well, an alpha male might say, not that I am, but an alpha male might say that she's not married. So they would tie that into being like, how good of a time is she having? Because I don't know, I'm not an alpha male, but like that they align that with her quote unquote happiness.
But that could also be the reason why maybe she doesn't want to get married. So that's why she's more comfortable with not caring about their age range, and I'll date a little younger because I feel like this newer generation coming up isn't as concerned with marriage as it was once.
If she doesn't want to get married, but like,
if she doesn't want.
Generally speaking, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like most women want to get married at some point, and she's also 52.
Has she ever been married?
Has she ever been married? I have no idea. But someone did say she dates younger men because they are more accepting of what she wants to do.
Yes.
Toxic,
being married,
but toxic masculinity only becomes an issue when women want to rebel.
Well, some may say that.
Yeah, but that's
Some
what
may
if
say
women
that
have
their
a what if
norm
women is just
what
dealing
somebody
with
else sees as rebelliousness.
yes.
Right. So it's back to Justin Bieber for a second, but going to the strip club. If you're a woman who likes going to the strip club, because there are women out there. Oh look, I don't know if we're still filming over there.
No, we are.
Oh, we are. Okay. But whether it's a male or a woman who likes to go to the strip club, some may say, well, that's rebellious and you're defiant. Other people might be like, no, it's very normalized. Like, whether or not I'm actually doing what some people assume everybody does at the strip club, because not everybody does that there. I've known people who do their business meetings in the strip club.
Does the majority of women want to get married in today's world? Does the majority of women want to get married in today's world? Do you feel? I feel like
I've been seeing that less. Honestly, I think there's plenty of people who want to get married, but I feel like there's so many people who
like. Is there something else that can be searched for?
Married.
Like you yourself personally, what do you feel?
Wait, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut that off.
Okay,
Someone's also said if you're over 40 and still don't have the man you think you deserve, it's obvious you don't deserve him.
Ooh, that's harsh.
That is harsh.
That's harsh. I don't believe that.
I don't. Now you know why. I don't. Now listen. I don't believe that if it's the same woman that's got the same like ways as Tracy Ellis Ross. I don't believe that.
We mean the same ways.
Like if you're cool and comfortable with like I don't want to marry my age. I'm cool with a guy that's
but you're
younger,
assuming
whatever.
that. You
then,
assume that, and now you're running with it because she never said that she doesn't want to get married.
Okay, so take the marriage out of her. All right. So let's just use it as she said. I'd rather date younger.
Yeah.
So then, does that like matter? Then what you just said? Does it like some people it might not matter to the woman? No.
But if you're dating younger and not landing in a committed long relationship, if you want that, and I would say most people want that, not even just women, but I think more women than men.
I don't know. I feel like it's starting to become a
point-
norm of like, can we just be loyal? And if we hear, I'm starting to see that more. Like
mean
that
the-
ring.
I'm seeing breakups and divorces more.
That yeah.
So it's like.
But I think the other piece that's really important to identify with this topic is the fact that getting married in Hollywood can look very different than the average person.
Especially if she's not
Okay.
dating
Now,
somebody with money either.
Potentially, people can get prenups, and
Yep.
we see lots of famous people who do it.
Right.
Yep.
But when there's not prenups, or even when there are prenups, it can still get kind of sticky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone like her, she might be like, I've got a lot. I mean, this is Diana Ross's daughter.
Yep.
She's got a lot that's going to be inherited, okay, aside from what she's creating herself in this world. And so that could be one of her reluctance. I don't know if she's reluctant to get married. I have no idea what her deal is. But I'm just saying, if she was reluctant, that could be another reason of just like, damn, the person who's going to be actually marrying me is going to be somebody who I've got to really trust if I'm going to be sharing my assets with them, because it's a whole other ball game when you're getting divorced as a famous person.
I agree with that for the rich, for like the person that's wealthy.
Right, yeah.
I agree with that. Not every female, but I feel like some of the females that are in that world of her, she's just trying to let everything go smooth, maybe. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily what she's saying, but I feel like it's more like I got money. I don't really need to care about a prenup. Like, he's coming around me. I might have met him at a Walmart. Like, he don't got no money at all. And, like, that doesn't matter. But, like, why get so deep on trying to get married? I don't know. I just think it's becoming more of a thing in today's world where it's not as serious to just get married as it used to be. And it's not all the way there yet. But I slowly feel like, because I feel like it used to be like that for men. But I feel like I'm starting to see that more in women as well.
I think you, if you are right, I think you maybe. If you are right, I think you are more right in like a regular average person,
not
setting.
a rich,
not in a rich setting, because
okay.
like I wouldn't have put that together if Molly didn't point it out, because I feel like left and right in Hollywood they're getting
yeah.
because they also have a reputation to
Yeah.
uphold. Oh, they've been together for 5 years. Why aren't they married? Blah blah type shit, or sometimes not even 5 years.
You get a lot of publicity when you get married.
Exactly. That too, exactly.
Right. So there's a lot of components.
Then if you marrying
to
somebody
it.
else that's rich too, or a
9
name.
times out of 10
no,
that's
get
the
it.
case.
I get it. No, you might be. Yeah, you're probably right for the rich.
Yeah, I mean, I think it ultimately though comes down to people's value systems and what they uphold for themselves in terms of marriage. Because some people could care less, like you were just saying, right? And then are you cold?
No, I just had like a chill real quick.
It's freezing in here, Molly.
I know,
but it's fine.
No.
Molly, it's fine. We wrap. We're
No,
really
I
wrapping it
literally
up.
had a chill. I'm good.
Yeah, and then some people, they really believe in marriage, but I feel like less people these days are caring as much about marriage. I think plenty still do, but I'm just saying I think it's less of a standard than what it used to be. Old school was like, you can't have sex before you got married, kind of a deal, right? You can't live with a partner before you get married. People live together all the time now without being married, right? But back in the day, that was not the case. You'd be like shamed.
Yeah.
So times have changed in a lot of ways, I think for the better.
Anything else on Tracy Ellis Ross?
Are you Tracy Ellis Ross? Are you
I'm
Molly?
Well, I didn't get that question either.
So like the range, the age range.
The age range.
You don't see
Molly
age
is
range.
crazy. Not
I
as
mean-
accurate though. I don't understand that.
We're literally
as a
like if somebody
therapist,
says,
I'll
"Hey,
say
how you
as
doing?"
a therapist, right? Let me just put on that cap for a second.
Now, I'm not talking to
It's
the
always
therapist,
on.
but we'll go to next.
My
I'm not
sense
talking to
is,
the
and
therapist.
I don't
we'll
know
go to
this
next.
person at all, but my sense is that she's probably had a lot of experiences with men her age or older that just where it felt like the values did not align. And therefore, it's led her to feel more inspired to connect with younger guys that she feels more connected to because
Right.
maybe they just have similar value systems, or maybe those guys are just more open to her doing the things that she wants to do
Easier.
because she doesn't there was something, I read something out there that talked about like kind of the rigid standards, or I don't know if it was like the classic like my woman's got to stay at home and can't really do a lot. And I mean,
So
good luck trying to tell a woman in Hollywood to do that.
That
right?
was the direction I was going, but more so like, all right, cool. You go to what is it called? When you get off of work and you did the bar. What is it called?
Happy hour?
Yeah, you go to a happy hour. You're talking to a guy there. You exchange numbers. Now you've been talking to this guy for 5 days. Day 6, he tells you he's 29. Is that ever a deal breaker for you? Just the person saying their age. Is that like oh shit, I'm done with this? Okay, that's what I was asking. That's literally it. Because I'm with that. I don't agree to somebody letting just the age itself dictate the situation. Now, if he's 29 and he's immature and you start seeing a little bit of immaturity, even if it's a little because of your age, then yeah, I can get you being like, oh no, this is not my speed. But I feel like anymore today, the age shouldn't just make you say no.
No.
I mean, like now let me
I think it's the
specify.
person. It all comes
If he's
down to the
19 or 18,
Yeah.
you probably should be saying no. But
Choose child.
what I'm saying is like more of like a, maybe 10 years out the box, 15 years out the box or whatever, and you're like upper in your 30s and they're in their 30s, then I think it should be more of like a conversations and different forms of dating, and then all right, cool. Like, no, he's mature enough. I can handle this. It shouldn't just be the age that makes you be like, oh no, I'm bugging. You're 33. What am I doing? Like, I think that should be
see it out
the
through.
window today in today's world.
A really good tool, right? Because I think when people are in that process of, searching on that quest for the ideal partner to be in a relationship with, so often they make that list, whether in their head or they write it down, of all the qualities that they want in that other person. But the next step, I think, aside from identifying those qualities in the ideal person that you want, is to ask yourself, who do I have to become in order to attract that person with those qualities, right? Because I think so often people are drawn to identifying the qualities in another that they want without the focus upon themselves in terms of where they need to grow to attract that, right? Like, let's say, you want someone who's really funny and you're like just serious all the time and not really a funny person. Well, good luck trying to attract that person, right? Like maybe you need to work on your sense of humor or letting things roll off a little bit better in order to attract. I'm just, that's a random example, but you can think about it with anything, right?
Now, Molly,
so
I last question, and we obviously got to have you back because obviously the ball just keeps rolling when we have our conversations, which is obviously great. It's obviously dope, definitely good chemistry and whatnot. Based off what you just said, what you attract is what you get, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Once, really recently on the podcast, a woman said that, and I quote, "If you are a woman who is always cheated on, you are the problem." Do you agree with that? Based off your attraction point that you just made.
I don't think
you might not
have a
like my
problem.
answer,
It
but
wouldn't be the first one.
It's twofold. You're funny. It's
I just want to
listen,
hear
I'm
this.
doing you a favor. I'm doing you a
That's nasty, Molly. That was nasty.
Shot for a shot. Mom, we playing ping pong right now.
Just kidding.
It sounds like entitlement.
Y'all go crazy.
Listen, I want to support you in answering your question. Okay. No, I think it's twofold. I think on one hand, it's really important if you find that there's this consistent pattern in your life where you keep getting together with men who are cheating on you. I don't think it's your fault. Never do I think it's your fault.
Never?
But if
No,
that's what
I
you're
don't think
attracting,
it's your
though.
fault.
None at all.
No, wait,
You don't think
hold on.
you don't think
Hold-
that correlates to what you're
finish.
Let
attracting?
me finish.
Yeah, let her
Oh, okay.
finish. Go
Before
ahead.
she starts singing, okay, go ahead.
I know. That's what shuts you guys up when I start singing. So I'm like,
gotta
keep
give you the
That's a little
stage.
scary.
That's the spotlight.
It's
And
nice
it's scary.
and scary at the
Eerie.
same time. So it's like, oh my God, wait.
Like,
She gonna start cursing herself now?
No, I don't think it's a woman's fault or a man's fault if the tables are turned, but I don't think it's somebody's fault when somebody else cheats on you. I think it's that person's responsibility for cheating, okay? I would be concerned that the woman continues to attract these men that all seem to cheat. There's something going on. The work that I would do with her is, hey, let's take a look at what's going on in you that's attracting this, and the parts that are coming up that obviously need some healing, right? And let's look at the standards maybe that you've welcomed into your life. Like there's something going on here.
beautiful. We're gonna end it on a cliffhanger. I know you got something you can talk to after the pod, but that's a great way to end it on a cliffhanger. If you are still here or if you watch this in the future, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to give out your handles or your brands, shamelessly promote, do your thing. It's like Kenny J.
Kenny J24.
There it is.
Yeah, I
Team
think that
Kenny.
is what it is. Something like that, you know?
So shameless
I'm
promotion
I'm findable. Yeah, Kenny J24.
on
know?
Instagram
Yep.
and in Molly
And our
McCarthy,
website here is evolutionaryholistichealing.com. That's our IG, Facebook, all the good stuff with little dots between each word. And then my handle is Molly McCarthy Tweety, which I hope you all can spell.
It's with a D. It's not with a T.
It's with a D.
Tweety.
Outstanding.
Capital D.
Until next time.